Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Good evening. Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Today's Wednesday, September 21st. 265 days into the new year. Just 101 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in downtown Burbank, California. I'd like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States, hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the Planets. I'm your so humble host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? Let's do this, man. Tonight, Jim Mars is here. He's here to talk about the events in New York City and New Jersey. We're going to talk about current events. There is stuff going across this country right now. Of course, we'll probably get some politics in, some ufology in, some new world order in. We'll do it all tonight. Jim Mars is the very best. But first up tonight, we're going to have Ronnie McMullen in here from Life Change Tea. We're going to do more of the same with Ronnie, too, actually. Let's see who tops who tonight. Tomorrow night's another Fader night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom. Of course, it's followed by open lines all night long. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. Follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. We don't bite. Come and hang out with all of us tonight. You can email throughout the show, Jimmy@JimmyChurchRadio.com. All right, let's get this show cracking. We've got a big one in front of us tonight, so it's going to be fun. Buckle up, get ready. As I often say, fold up your tray tables, put your seat in the upright position, because tonight Jim Mars is here. And like I said, warming up the show tonight is Ronnie McMullen. He will be here. Love all of the dancing gifts. You guys outdid yourselves tonight. Yeah, man. Love all of it. There you go. All right. David Icke, man. The emails have not stopped. David Icke is here in the United States right now, and you can see him live this Saturday at the Craneway Pavilion up in San Francisco. Just click on his banner right now. It's over at JimmyChurchRadio.com. It'll take you straight over for tickets and info. The Craneway Pavilion is up in Richmond, San Francisco. It's a big facility. There you go. It is a pavilion. And they still have tickets left. So go and check out David Icke. If you have not had the opportunity to see David and have him do his thing for 10 hours, you need to go check it out this weekend, right now, in San Francisco. It is Saturday, the 24th. Ronnie McMullen's going to be here from Life Change Tea. He's going to be here at the bottom of the hour. Just go right now to the banners at JimmyChurchRadio.com. It'll take you straight to GetTheTea.com. Mention Jimmy when you order, either over the phone or online, and get free shipping. Ronnie's got one of the best companies out there in the world. He's going to be here tonight hanging out. He's got some specials and some other stuff he'd like to talk about tonight. And we're going to discuss your health. And you know Ronnie. Ronnie's going to talk about just about anything, and we'll do all of that tonight with Ronnie. He'll be here in a few short minutes. And then, of course, the way that this show runs, remember, this is America, okay? And it runs on sponsors. That's how we do the show every single day. We bring you the best guests, the most fun. We're here nearly every single night. And you do that through our sponsors. Okay? That's what you do. Support our show by supporting our sponsors. Studio Dome, their Fade or Not special, which is, I've kind of thrown out my voice a little bit. I'll be fine, though, by the way. That's because I'm drinking coffee. Coffee works for me. It's weird. There's stuff when I broadcast, sodas, juice, anything like that, it makes me salivate, man. I just start drooling. The only thing that cuts through and makes me right is coffee. It will always make me right. Anyway, the Studio Dome Fade or Night special, it is a hard shell case with a portable stereo Bluetooth sound system. Everything all included for just $129. Go to right now, Studio Dome's banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Use the promo code JCRTWS, and you will also get free shipping. That is only for the Fade or Nots. Let's get the show cracking. Right now, today, Bill Murray is 66 years old. Happy birthday, Bill. Looks a little tore up, though, doesn't he? For 66. Did you see, what is that called? St. Vincent? Pretty good flick. Stephen King today is 69. Last night, I saw the I've seen it a few times, but I went and watched it last night after the show. Room 237, based on, documentary. Jay Weidner's in it, about The Shining. And I watched that again last night. And, yeah, I don't know what was better, the book or the movie. Both outstanding. Stephen King today is 69. Alfonso Ribeiro is 45. You know who he is? That's Carlton on The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Yeah. Today, 45. So that means, and I had to stop and think about this. He was like 15, 14 years old when he was on. I mean, I can't even believe it, man. Anyway, where am I? Cell phones are going off here in the studio. Bill Murray, Alfonso, Luke Wilson today is 45. Best film for him, Idiocracy. No question. Our dead guy's birthday today is H.G. Wells. 1866 to 1946, died at the age of 79. Author of The Time Machine, The Invisible Man, and The War of the Worlds. That's all I need to say. Stopping right there. Happy birthday, H.G. On this day in history, in 1792, a big day, monarchy is abolished in France on this day in 1792. Fader fact, are you ready? One of 13 articles in the 1781 United States Articles of Confederation states that if Canada wants to be admitted into the U.S., it will automatically be accepted. That is the fader. Canadians, are you listening? Did you know that? Right? If you guys want to come join us, all you got to do is say yes. Trippy, huh? Tonight, Jim Mars is with us. We're going to go around the table tonight, but with Jim. But specifically, I want his insights on what just went down on the East Coast this weekend, and we've got a lot of heated areas in the country right now too, and we're going to talk about all of that and why he isn't running for president. We're going to do that tomorrow night. Fader Night with John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom, followed by open lines all night long. The call-in number is 323-825-5045. And after I get yapping after I get done yapping tonight, I'm looking at the studio clock, 18 minutes, Ronnie McMullen will be here from getthetea.com, Life Change Tea. And I wanted to say a couple of things because I know why most people tune into this show. All right? It's UFOs. And I get that. And maybe time travel. I get that too, right? But UFOs, time travel, they fall underneath a much broader umbrella. And that umbrella, the conspiracy umbrella, is at the top. Everything kind of falls underneath it. And this show. Conspiracies. Conspiracy is the new normal. And so many different situations are underneath that, like the shadow government, the cabal, black projects, the Fed, the puppet masters. So many things fall under that conspiracy umbrella. It's really incredible. And that's really what the show is about. My favorite things to talk about, which are, UFOs and time travel and ancient Egypt and, of course, Göbekli Tepe and lost civilizations and archaeology and megaliths. All of that, believe it or not, falls under that conspiracy umbrella. But also underneath that conspiracy umbrella, and you need to listen to me right now, the Fed and the banking system. And it is so it is such a large conspiracy. It's a conspiracy to defraud, to rip off, to just screw, to scam, right? That's what it is. But you can't avoid it. We need banks, right? Unless you're going to walk around, stuff your money underneath your mattress and walk around with cash. And you can do that and there's people that do, and I understand. But you and everybody that's around you is connected to a bank somewhere. And some banks are larger than others. But it is such a direct connection to, when you go backwards, to everything that is corrupt and evil. Because the banks control the weapons manufacturers. The banks control and feed the military. The banks control and feed politics. The banks control and feed the mortgage industry. The banks control and feed food. Banks control and feed everything. Everything. And the people at the top of these banks are truly the most corrupt and evil. There is not... There's not a saint in the bunch. Doesn't exist. But those guys with the horns right off the top of their foreheads are directly connected to you. Now, I remember one day I got upset with Bank of America, and it happened to be over, this is 25 years ago or longer. Happened to be over a check that was deposited into my bank account. I don't know how it did, with some crazy signature on the back. It was written out to me, and cashed and bounced. And I see, and it overdrew. Well, it was for $750. And I call a B of A and they go, "Hey, it was deposited into your account." I go, "Look, that's not my signature, right?" And I go down. I said, "I want this money back." "Well, we can't, it was just deposited. It was made out to you." You know what? Check this out. That's not my signature. Give me my money. I'm out of here. And after a little bit of arguing, they said, I said, "No, that's it. I take my stuff and I go. And the bank manager meets me at the front door and says, "Look, we'll go ahead and make this right now. Stay." I said, "No, I'm out." And I leave, and I go next door to Wells Fargo. And I walk into Wells Fargo. They got carpeting. B of A's got tile floors. They got pictures on the wall, wood paneling, everything that B of A doesn't have, right? And I was like, it's nice and warm in here. It's inviting. I like the way this looks. Well, today it ain't that kind of party, is it? Oh, no. I just watched the entire Senate Banking Committee hearings that took place yesterday, and I went through all of the video, and I watched all of it. And I'm not sure if I'm proud of the line of questioning, which obviously some of those senators were pretty dang angry. Well, I think they all were. Or the fact that the only reason it went down at all was because the SEC and those out there at different agencies that are there to protect us failed to do their job. But I did watch Elizabeth Warren go after Wells Fargo CEO doofus John Stumpf. And she said, amongst other things, she said that he should resign. And she's right. I'll get to that, more on that in just a bit. She said that he should face a criminal inquiry by the Justice Department and the Security Exchange Commission. I couldn't agree more. I think it should go a lot further than that. But the smugness that tarred dolt John Stumpf showed everybody that was running the hearing just made me angry. And listening to his responses, my hands started to shake. I was just infuriated. There is so much more to this story, and we're going to find out more, and I'm hoping it goes far and wide. But there was a couple of points that were made that this isn't conjecture, this is not rumor, this isn't anything but fact, according to Stumpf. And during the last 5 years, when all of this has gone down, this is 2016, the last 4 years, Stumpf possesses right now, today, 6.75 million shares of Wells Fargo stock. And he's the CEO of the company. And during this scam of customers, this completely fraud, just scam, it's illegal what they did. His stock went up $30 per share. He has 6.75 million shares of Wells Fargo stock. And that increase of $30 per share was largely because of their expanding customer base and how they were opening up all of these accounts and the reports that were published that go out to Wall Street and how fantastic Wells Fargo is doing. $30 per share. Stumpf personally profited over $200 million in scamming the very customers that pay his salary. $200 million. Last year, his salary, not his stock, his salary last year out of his own mouth was $19.3 million. Paid to rip people off. And if you don't see the conspiracy in that, the darkness in that, I can't paint you another picture. Now, and according to Stumpf, no senior management has been fired. None. The very people that ran these divisions underneath him has not been fired. He has not fired himself. He has not resigned. He should. He said himself, I need to be held fully and wholly responsible. Well, okay. Then if this is your fault, let's continue with criminal prosecution then. They turn around and they fired 5,300 tellers and personal bankers that were opening up these accounts. and pointing the fingers at them when of course that is not the case. You have 5,300 employees across the country, right, that all have division heads and regional heads. And that's it. The very flavor of the environment, the flavor of the company starts at the top. He himself said, okay, I don't want to jump ahead. My mind needs to stay in flow. But he said that 8 rhymes with great. His words. And he wanted every single customer at Wells Fargo to have 8 accounts. 8. The average at any other large bank, small bank, the average is 3. The average. Most are 1. 3. What do you even need 2? You need a checking account, savings account. What do you need a third account for? Don't know. But 8. And that's where that $30 per share came from. $200 million in his pocket. 8 rhymes with great. No senior management has been fired, but the Wells Fargo's workers around the country who tried to put a stop to those illegal tactics, almost a half a dozen right now, were fired. The whistleblowers. Bill Beto, a former Wells Fargo banker in Pennsylvania, not only refused orders to open up phony bank and credit accounts, he called an ethics hotline and sent an email to Human Resources back in September 2013, flagging unethical sales activities he was being instructed to do. 8 days after that email, Beto was fired. The stated reason? Tardiness. Now, we all know that retaliating against whistleblowers is a major breach of trust. That's what they're there for. Ethics hotlines are exactly that kind of safeguard that is put in place to prevent illegal activity from taking place and provide refuge for employees from dangerous work environments. The FBI monitors these programs. Well, Wells Fargo sleazeball CEO John Stumpf made precisely that point yesterday when he testified before a bunch of red-faced senators that were pretty pissed off. And he said, and I'm quoting here, each team member, no matter where you are in the organization, is encouraged to raise their hands. We want them to call those anonymous ethics hotlines, adding, we want to hear from all of them. But that's not the experience of some of those former Wells Fargo workers. One human resources official that used to work for the bank says that even the bank had a method in place to retaliate against tipsters. He said that Wells Fargo would find ways to fire employees in retaliation for shining the light on sales issues. It could be as simple as monitoring the employee to find a fault, like showing up late for work. Couple of days, few minutes late, you're out of there. Pushed for 8 accounts per customer. Saying 8 rhymes with great. John Stumpf. The only reason we are hearing about this right now is they got caught. This was the policy of the CEO on down. To rip off and scam everyone. Everyone. This is not a dream, my friends. This isn't some crazy Hollywood movie that I talk about every day. Hundreds of millions of your dollars went straight to the pockets of the elite. And they don't care. They actually think Stumpf actually thinks he's done nothing wrong. Watching Stumpf's face during the hearings, you could tell he honestly does not care. And I don't get it. I don't know. I honestly don't know what $200 million of free money looks like. that you've scammed and built from people that don't have it to give? You turn around and you fire 5,300 employees that are making $12 an hour, $13 an hour, $14 an hour for doing your bidding. I don't know why there isn't a warrant out for his arrest right now. I don't, because this is theft, pure and simple, and it's criminal. If anybody at Wells Fargo stole money, go to prison. No question. No matter how little it is. A roll of quarters. And can you imagine how they would slam down on you? But it's okay for him and his other senior level management people to profit and to make this money, knowing how they did it and what the culture was and the environment was to do it. It was sanctioned and pushed. This is what I think right now. If I was in charge, I would start with seizure of his assets. Every penny of profit that he made off of those stocks, I would take the stocks, but all of that disappears. Done. Gone. Redistribute it back through not only the employees that were the whistleblowers, right? But the customers. Give it back. I would force him to give it back personally. I would file charges. I would arrest him because of the amount of money that this man possesses and the flight risk that he is and the assets that he has around the world. And by the way, I did go look at some of his houses today. You can go and look it up. Sickening. A lot of money. So, no bail. No bail. I wouldn't give him the opportunity. No opportunity to sit at home while his lawyers drag things out in court so he can eat his shrimp cocktails. No plea deal. I would force him to go to trial and let a jury hear this. The very people and families and children that he ripped off. That smug-faced, punk-ass CEO, John Stump, I would give it to him really good. Because it's just not right. There are too many starving kids. When I hear about children whose families can't pay for their lunches in school, and you got this guy pulling this kind of crap off, and he thinks it's okay, and is trying to explain his way out of it in front of the Senate, they didn't want to hear it. That's where I'm coming from. That's a conspiracy right there. And it's happening in real time. It ain't a dream, folks. This is Fade to Black. Conspiracy is the new normal, isn't it? Comes down to something like this in real time happening with you. And if you don't bank at Wells Fargo, you know somebody that does. And out of the two of you or the three of you or the four of you that you look at, one of you just got screwed. And your money is in his pocket, and he don't care. It's Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Ronnie McMullen is here. Stay right there. I'll be right back.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. What's up, revolutionaries? It's me, Jimmy Church. Do you have an IRS or state tax issue? Well, I did, and I called national tax experts. My problems were fixed, done, fini, and man, I gotta tell you, it was a relief. National Tax Experts are a recognized tax office that services clients in all 50 states. It doesn't matter where you live. Give them a call. I'm telling you, they take the time to understand each and every client's individual financial status as well as their financial goals. And that's exactly what you need, my brother, when you're taking on the evil 3-letter. So, seriously, give them a call today at 1-877-909-5444. Again, 1-877-909-5444. Or go check out their website, www.nattaxexperts.com. That's NATTAXEXPERTS.com. Tell them Jimmy sent you.
Hi, folks. In a world of GMO, genetically modified organisms, that is, chemicals, processed foods, and a healthcare system that's unraveling like a cheap suit, it's time to prepare. God created herbs, and herbs help man. Our body can heal itself, just sometimes we need assistance. You need some help? GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Our mild detox is quite powerful with its unique blend of 8 different herbs. And if you're looking for more, our non-GMO supplements will help you with different needs you might have. Health should be a top priority. Take care of your health naturally. Log on to GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Give your body a treat. Let the herbs do their thing naturally. Read all the testimonies on the website, GetTheTea.com. That's GetTheTea.com. Sickness and viruses are like intruders, and herbs are like warriors. Let the tea work for you. That's GetTheTea.com.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Hi, this is Chase Klutsky with Fate Magazine Radio, and you're listening to Jimmy Church and Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station where the Fade-or-Nots rock.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Kyle Massey, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can get my blood boiling. I can get fired up if I have to. You know what I need? I need what Ronnie's got. That's what I need. Ronnie McMullen. Life Change Tea. GetTheTea.com. He's up now, and Jim Mars will be with us at the top of the hour. The View from Mars. It's going to be great. You know, and I instead of some long intro with Ronnie, I'm just going to bring you in, man, and let you hit the ground running. I need the GetTheTea.com. I need the Life Change Tea equivalent of morphine right now. What have you got? What have you got that could calm me down?
Wow, I'm not sure what. Well, calm you down. What would I pick for you to calm? I'd say the tea.
Yeah,
I'd say the tea.
I might be tea bound here. You might be right, but
I'm drinking mine right now.
Well, I'm going the opposite. I'm doing some pretty serious extra black roast. It's I forget what they call this. There's some kind of name for it. You know, black fog or something.
Fade to black fog.
Yeah, no, I think that's what it's called. Something like that. Fog lifter or something. Anyway, yeah, okay. Before we get the tea and what's new with you, and there's a few things that somebody just tweeted. Tell me that they've got Allison C available again, please. That tweet just came in if you can't see it. Yep.
Okay, here it is. Here's the news. We're not going to have it for another... No, just kidding. We have it. We got it, and it is in. You can order. And the people that have already ordered it and tried it and seen what it's doing, I mean, they're like on the reorder bound. So if you have not tried Allie C, and this stuff is a rocker when it comes to fighting disease, bacteria, viruses, all that stuff. This is like equivalent, one pill, equivalent to 34 to 40 cloves of garlic without the stink, without the smell, without anything. And it will rock your world because I will better not say you won't get sick because it is possible, but the chances of you getting sick are going to get real slim, put it that way.
Back off your microphone.
How about now?
Well, it sounds like your room mic and not tap on the mic. Yeah, it's on. Okay, yeah, back off of it. Okay, but anyway, see, Ronnie and I did not sound check before the show. See, and that's what we get. That's what you get. That's the broadcasting blues right there. I just took, as you got me all fired up, it's right here. I just took my Allison C right now. So you've got it back in stock. Everything is good. Everybody can relax.
Everybody can relax. It's ready to go. And I don't want to be without it. So the people, like I said, I think the people that are going, hey, we really want that, they already know. They've already put it in their body, and they're like, oh, my gosh, rock and roll.
Now, the Senate hearings that this is the reason why my blood is boiling. The Senate hearings that went down with John Stumpf yesterday from Wells Fargo, he came off like the most smuggest. I don't care. You guys are wasting my time right now. I shouldn't have to be here because I'm better than you and I'm better than everybody else. Just leave me alone. After, he's just ripped off everybody and profited with all this money. And today, last night and today, I went through and I watched all of the video of the Senate hearings. I watched it all, man. Man. And I'm serious. I could feel my blood pressure, Ronnie, climbing. My hands were shaking. And I started reaching for supplements to calm down. And it's like that. And when somebody gets into that point where, seriously, where you need to calm down, what's the best supplement for that to kind of right the ship again and to get you back into focus?
Well, here we go again. LAC. And I'll just tell you from my standpoint, I might have said this before, but, we'll say it again. I had blood pressure that was 170 over 80, 82. And I took it for a month and a half. I just did a blood pressure read this morning, in fact, 110 over 70. So, and my wife had high blood pressure, same thing, took it down. So if you're boiling blood pressure, you want to. And let me tell you something else. I had triglycerides that were too high, and smack dab, it took it down by 25%. 25% triglycerides came down. So cholesterol comes down too, but cholesterol's a little bit slower on the come down scene. So I can tell you, if your blood is boiling, and by the way, the guy was just acting like Obama, okay? He was just acting like Obama, smug, money making, who cares? That's my little take.
Right. Check this out. Turn your microphone around. Speak on the other side of it. Watch this.
Okay. Let's see. How about now?
See?
You're the man?
Yeah, you were talking in the backside of your microphone.
You think so?
Oh, oh, man.
You got to teach me these things. I was only in radio 12 years. Well, actually, what it is, I bought a new mic.
Okay, everybody needs to tweet Ronnie right now and just call him Doofus.
Okay, but see, I changed mics. I'm old-fashioned. I usually have like a sports
mic. Oh, you
mic.
sound so good right now.
Are you falling in love?
Yeah. Well, you have no idea what it was sounding like. It was like Noah.
No kidding.
Noah. Wow. Yeah. It was like that, man. It was the voice of God coming down from the clouds.
Oh, there we go.
Ronnie, speak now. You said now I can concentrate.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's because of that. It's that musician thing in you. That's what it is.
See,
everybody else might say, hey, he's got a funky voice or something, but you're like going crazy.
No, let me tell you something. Ronnie, I'm going to tell you right now and the entire audience, if you don't think I have the ears of an angel and that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to audio, mixing records, production, this radio show.
I think you do.
Dude,
I think you do.
I know
just
exactly
think
what's
the rest of us are doofuses.
I know exactly what's going on. When I tell you to turn your microphone around and speak into the other side, yeah, there you go. Okay,
the red dot on this side frightens me.
Yeah. Don't anybody ever question the church. That's it. I feel pretty cocky right now.
Well, they say you're not supposed to come against the church.
I got to tell you, man, I feel pretty good. I feel pretty good. Yeah, there were. I can't tell you how many millions of hours I've spent in the studio. And those early days, especially when I'm listening to the microphones on drums or guitars, I'm listening or whatever, and I'm like, man, it just doesn't sound right. And you go in there and you turn the microphone around. Right?
You got to let me live that down, are you?
No, a couple of years from now, we're going to be knocking some back somewhere around the country.
Yeah.
And I'm going to bring this night up in front of everybody.
I can feel it.
I'm going to bring this night up. I
feel it in the bones already.
Now, you said, too, you gave me some of the best news earlier today that you have a new version of colostrum coming in. Can you tell everybody what flavor that is? Or am I throwing you under the bus?
You threw me under the bus.
Okay.
But I'll tell your listeners first. How's that? Because I'm on so many different shows, so you can be the first one to know. Now, it's not in stock, okay, but it's coming. We're going to have chocolate colostrum.
Oh, man. And is it going to be, because I love chocolate, is it going to be, because the vanilla version is mind-blowing, right?
It's awesome.
It is. It just tastes great. It tastes like a milkshake.
But you got to be a vanilla fan. So what if you're a chocolate fan?
Right. So is this going to be, to me, the chocolate version of what vanilla does to me?
Yeah, this is. I've already tried it. It's been in the makes for quite a while. We're the only one in the market that has it. And it is exclusive to Get the Tea. In fact, we switched colostrums, by the way. We have our own brand. It's just as good as the one that people bought before, except it's $6 cheaper.
Oh, right on.
So I'm really about trying to save the money for people. And then I thought, vanilla, that's really good. It's really good. But you know what? Chocolate. I mean, when you look at the stores when they're selling vanilla ice cream or chocolate ice cream, chocolate always trumps vanilla. I know there's a lot of vanilla fans out there, and don't worry, it's not going away. But chocolate usually trumps vanilla. And so I thought, what if we had chocolate colostrum, especially when you're talking about kids? I thought, man, because the kids need to be on the colostrum. This is something that could change them big time because they're young, and so their autoimmune system is already starting to go bad at a young age because of our foods, processed foods, all the garbage, GMOs, or whatever. So this is something you can get the kids on the colostrum, and they will not fight you because it's chocolate milk.
Right. Wait, it makes. I don't know what McDonald's or In-N-Out Burger or whatever, Steak and Shake, the ratio of chocolate shakes versus everything else, but it's got to be like 100 to 1. It has to be.
It's got to be. It's got to be big, yeah.
It's got to be big. So I'm really looking forward to this. I'm
You'll
addicted.
Get the first bag.
I'm addicted to
even though
the
I
colostrum.
still don't have my T-shirt.
Oh, Ronnie.
And the listeners know it, don't you, listeners? Yeah.
We just got.
Know.
We ran out.
Here we go. With
No. We ran out of large. First,
I could see my mic.
Yeah, we ran out of large T-shirts, and then we ran out of extra large, and of which we had a very large shipment done. But we shipped so many shirts, and it caught us by surprise. I thought in our little shipping department that we had another case or two. So I didn't. It's kind of my job to deal with the artwork and final approvals and things like that, right? So that kind of fell under my wing, and I let it slip between the cracks. So we had to turn around and get everything ordered, and when I say just, they are done. I haven't even picked them up yet. So, yeah, we've got a lot of angry people out there right now, but it's not that we're slacking off. It's just slip between the cracks. Enough of that, Ronnie. You're going to get your shirt. Man, I'm feeling guilty because I love my audience, and and they love their shirts and they want their stuff, and I totally get that. Anybody out there wants if they would have wanted a medium or a 2X, 3X, 4X, got those.
Small,
yeah, right. Got all those in stock. But large and extra large, we ran out of, and I didn't think we ever would. I mean, we had that large of an order, thousands, and they're gone. So anyway, where else was I going? So I was over on the specials page, and I see that you do have it, the new colostrum vanilla. So this is your Get the Tea now colostrum that is there.
And people are going to ask me and say, is it as good as the other one? And in ways, I think it's better, but I don't want to knock the other company down. So I'll just say, yes, it's just as good.
Right.
It's just $6 cheaper. And pretty soon there's going to be chocolate.
I can't wait, man. I can't wait. Now,
I'm excited about it.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about, and this is kind of personal for me, but I think everybody will appreciate the question, which is, you have liquid versions of pills, right? You have the olive leaf, you have the hawthorn heart syrup, you have vitamin C. And the moringa. What's the advantage of the liquid version? Because it's also less money, but I like the liquid versions of things.
Well, the liquid version gets in your bloodstream immediately, so it's like put it on your tongue or put it in a little water and drink the water. Bam, it's there right now. And the other digests a little differently. So it's if you're wanting the pick me up now, especially like on moringa or even vitamin C. You probably want to go the liquid, but some people don't want to do liquid. They're just pill poppers. They're used to it. We've been trained to do that, and that's cool. And so you can just do, the pills, and that works too. So it's really preference, but I would say the liquid gets into your system quicker, faster, and digests better.
What is the hawthorn berry heart syrup? What is that?
Well, for people who have heart problems, it's kind of the natural way for heart problems, and so you can take that, and it's really good. It's really sweet. I mean, I haven't given you one, Jimmy, because you'd probably drink the whole bottle in one sitting, so that's probably not good for you.
I've been tempted.
I know, but it's really good. It's like a berry syrup almost, but it's really good for your heart. So like if your heart has palpitations and just different things, it's really, really good for your heart. So, it's an all natural way.
And what if I wanted to lose? I think that I need to lose right now. I think we could all of us lose weight. None of us are perfect, but I could probably lose 10 or 15 pounds right now and feel pretty good about myself. What would I do with that? Would I go to your fat burners section?
Well, what you need is the tea, and you need the fat burners. And the fat burners also, sometimes we get people and they just buy the fat burners, and I'll just tell you right now, you're going down the wrong road. You need the tea and you need the fat burners, and you do both of those and add a little exercise and change your diet a little bit, and you will lose the weight. If you've never been on the tea, and actually for those of you that go, I don't like tea and I don't want to make it, and blah, 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 you could do D365 and get the same effect, but you still want to get the fat burners and D365 or the tea. Those combinations will help you lose some weight, and the right kind of weight, I might add. So the fat burners will burn fat around the liver, and the two in combination with the tea absolutely does wonders for you. So it's a great. And there's also another product that we carry, the Gymnema, and that is a appetite suppressor. But I will tell you, you have to be careful and watch if you take that one, because if your blood sugars are like normal blood sugars, it'll drop your blood sugars. So you might want to consult a physician or just know what your blood sugars are doing. But it does help with, suppressing your appetite, and that's the Gymnema. And if you have blood sugar problems, you want the Gymnema and you want the cinnamon. Those are both blood sugar combaters, so they'll bring your blood sugar down. You want to watch what you're doing, and you got to be careful if you're on medicine. You want to consult your doctor how to take it, and you want to take it far away. You don't want to take them all together.
Does it have CoQ10?
I do not have that.
Okay.
And
Next,
those ingredients are all natural, but they do not have that. No. But that is a good one for blood sugars as well. That's also another good one for cleaning out your arteries and stuff, and getting rid of, kind of dropping your cholesterol and your triglycerides.
can kids take colostrum? Just got posted here. They have a child that's 8 years old.
Yes. Super yes. Only yes, and more yes. Yeah. Because if you get your child on colostrum now, okay, and sometimes people have heard me on shows, and we talk about breastfeeding. A lot of women cannot breastfeed, and say your child, you breastfed, but unfortunately we've been harpooned with this GMO thing and this processed food thing. So if you didn't eat right, then even when you're breastfeeding, there's still colostrum there, but you're not going to get the best of the best. So this is something that, if the diet is wrong, the immune system's not doing well, this is going to help your child. This is going to help you. For people who have stomach problems, oh my God, you're just aching, you feel like you're going to vomit, blah, blah, blah. GI tract problems, this is your savior. It's going to help you naturally. And literally, it'll turn you around in less than 3 days. It did for me in 3 days, and I had a pretty jacked up stomach.
Yeah, me too. So you're saying that it's chocolate-flavored breast milk?
Yeah, well, it's cows. It's from cows.
Okay, all right.
But it's yeah. We got about 100 women, and they milk every night. No, I'm just kidding. That's disgusting.
That was pretty disgusting, but I didn't say it. It actually popped up in Twitter. I can't take credit for that. That's some pretty honestly brutally funny humor, and I had to do it. Okay. Now, what else have you got on special right now for the Fader Nuts?
I got a good special on because I ran out of Ali C. Okay, I told the people on my YouTube channel, Health Matters Now. Okay, that's my YouTube channel. I told people, I said, hey, you know what? My fault. And it wasn't really all my fault. But honestly, the manufacturer got messed up, and this stuff comes all the way from England. So this is heavy duty stuff. But anyway, because of that, I said, I will make it up to you. So what I did is we usually have a special that you can get 2 bottles for $70, okay? And that's a month's supply each, so you get 2 months for $70. But I added in a tea there for $95, so you get another discount. So you're going to get the tea and 2 bottles of Ali C for $95. And you can get free shipping, even though it's not over $100, you can get free shipping on that.
Because you're a Fader Nut.
Well, yeah, this is the thing is church people, I like that. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, it is kind of cool.
Church people get free shipping, period. So even if you buy 1 bottle or whatever you do, you get free shipping. So that's for the church people.
Is there anything stronger? I mean, I'm watching these tweets, man. They love you, Ronnie.
I love them too, man. I love them too. You're breaking me down, man.
Is there anything stronger than either out there or that you offer that's stronger than the super strength?
Well, we have a power cleanse, okay, and that's 25% stronger. Plus, it has blood purifiers in it. So, but it's a whole different ball game. That's an 8-day cleanse. And let me tell you something, you need to be finding Mr. Toilet,
Right.
So, I always say if you're going to Mexico where you've got bugs and parasites or you jacked yourself up with something that you put in your body, you do a power cleanse, it'll take it all out. But remember, it will take it all out, which means if you're on some pharmaceutical, you don't necessarily want that all out. And I would say this again, reminding people with the tea takes it out too, pharmaceuticals. So don't take your tea at the same time you're taking pharmaceuticals, 2 hours before or 2 hours after, because the actual herbs, which I call little warriors, they are actually looking at the pharmaceutical as an intruder. So they will immediately go to that pharmaceutical that's in your body and take it out and put it down your digestive tract and drop it. So you don't want to be doing that when you need those things. So, consult a doctor, whatever. But biggest thing is just don't take it 2 hours before, 2 hours after, so you're good to go.
Now, we all have parasites living in our digestive system. Some of them are good, right? right? Am I right with that? Or
well, you might be talking about enzymes and that kind of thing.
I don't know. I'm asking.
Parasites is not good. Little bugs are not good.
Okay.
You don't want parasites in you. And yes, you are right. We all have parasites, and people think that's just a Mexico thing, or that's just a foreign country thing. It is not. There is a lot of parasites right here in the United States, and so when you're drinking the tea, and again, I get asked this so much: how much tea should we drink? In other words, do we drink 1 month and we're good to go? And I would tell you, you drink the tea every month. And you go, oh, that's good for your business. And it's like, well, that's not really what it's about. It's like your car. You wash your car, you go, oh my gosh, that looks so great. Okay. And then you go out and you drive it for 2 weeks and it doesn't look like that anymore. There's bugs all over it, blah, blah, blah. This is the same thing. You get clean. So you drink the tea for a month and you're all clean. Parasites gone, heavy metals, this stuff starts getting better. And then all of a sudden you go, okay, I'm good. And then you start eating the normal foods, the GMOs, that's breathing the air, drinking the water, the fluoride, blah, blah, blah. And the next thing you know, you're bad again. So the tea is something that you should be drinking every single day, period, the rest of your life. Something like a power cleanse, no, you need to take it once or twice a year and you're good to go.
Yeah, I haven't done the power cleanse, but the tea, and I don't want to scare anybody, the super strength tea, it didn't affect Rita the way that it sort of affected me. Okay, now I'm trying to run
you
clean
want me to
here.
Go there?
No, yeah, I'm trying to run clean. But after the second day, I was fine, and after that, it's just like drinking tea. After that, you know what I mean? It wasn't. There was no craziness, no paranoia
well,
tied
let's
to
put it this way. Most people don't know this, but women have a harder time going than men. And so this has actually been a big savior for many women because they can be regular. Jerry Doyle used to say regular is a baby bird. So yes, you can be regular and it will make you better. And the guys usually kind of have to go faster for whatever reason. I don't even know. So, but after a while, you will change and you'll be just as normal as every day and you'll love it. And you won't have to be looking for a bathroom and all that scary stuff. It goes away after 2 or 3 days.
Ronnie, thank you for everything that you do, man. And, Fade to Black loves you. Our audience loves you. And just thank you again for being here for not only us, but the family. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, and don't forget the first bag of chocolate colostrum goes to you, Jimmy.
I can't wait. And do, everybody, just go to getthetea.com. Use my name either over the phone or when you order online. Use that, Jimmy, and you're going to get free shipping. And go to Ronnie's specials page. Check that out. That's where I go first to see where everything is happening. Thank you so much, Ronnie. Be safe out there.
Thank you.
Ronnie McMullen, getthetea.com. Just click on it over on our website. Very simple to do. Use the promo code Jimmy when you order. One of the best companies in the world. Ronnie McMullen, thank you so much. When I come back after this very short break, Jim Mars right here with you. The View from Mars is next. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. This is Fade to Black on the Game Changer Network and KGRA. The Planet. Stay right there, everybody.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on jimmychurchradio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA Digital Broadcast Station.
Fade or not, things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind.
forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go back, Lee Tepe.
Uncertainty has become the talking point when it comes to financial markets. One thing is becoming certain: safe haven assets. Hard assets are now becoming the choice of informed investors. The most recognized and valued hard asset is gold. The highest performing asset this year is gold. Trust gold to protect and grow your IRA or 401k. Central banks and billionaires are doing the same thing. Choose a more stable asset that has tremendous upside potential. As these uncertain times threaten the markets, your decision to reduce your exposure to these markets before further negative effects to your portfolio would be well timed. Call 1-800-GOLD-IRA to transfer your existing IRA into an actual physical gold and silver IRA. American Bullion is the pioneer of gold IRAs. They handle all the details for you. Call 1-800-GOLD-IRA to get prepared. Start protecting and growing your IRA and 401k before the next crash. American Bullion. 1-800-GOLD-IRA.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We are of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier, and I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers, and you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring two Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The two full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129 and use the promo code JCRTWS and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to jimmychurchradio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go back, Lee Tepe.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Oh, yeah. Tonight, Jim Mars. And last night, Richard Allen Miller. Tomorrow night, John Rappaport. I mean, does it get any better than this? It just truly does not. And the introduction for Jim can be very long. And I should start to shorten it up because his head gets big. It gets big because he is a graduate. He's a native of Fort Worth, Texas. He earned his bachelor's of arts degree in journalism from the University of North Texas way back in 1966. Attended graduate school at Texas Tech in Lubbock for 2 years. He's worked for several Texas newspapers. He was also not only in Vietnam, but after leave of absence, he went to serve with the 4th Army Intelligence Unit during the Vietnam War. He became a military and aerospace writer for the newspaper and investigative reporter. Since 1980, he's been cutting it loose. Mr. Mars has appeared on ABC, NBC, CBS, CNN, C-SPAN, Discovery, Learning, History, This Morning America, Geraldo, Montel, Today, Tech TV. Was that with Leo Laporte and Larry King, author of so many books, a big pile, including Alien Agenda, Rule by Secrecy, The War on Freedom, The Rise of the Fourth Reich, Above Top Secret, and his current release is Population Control. I would like to welcome back the one and only Mr. Jim Mars. Good evening, Jim.
Oh, Jimmy, you're too kind. Maybe you ought to just say what national programs I've not been on.
Well, yeah, you know, it could be 10 seconds. I could just get in and out and just say, welcome to the show.
That'd be a quickie.
Man, you know, Jim, like I had just said, you know, last night, Richard Allen Miller, oh, by the way, he wanted me to tell you hello, and he misses you. And, you know, tomorrow night.
Listen, I saw that. Him and John Rappaport. John Rappaport is still on my good guy list and is being one hell of a journalist.
Man, John Rappaport is no joke. And, you know, and so to have, you know, all of you guys on the show 3 days in a row says a lot about the position of not only Fade to Black and my attitude, but what we give to the audience. That's a pretty extraordinary week on the radio, don't you think?
I'll tell you what, if your audience listens to certainly those two guys and occasionally me, they probably would be fall over into the wise category. You know what? You know what I figured out? You know what wisdom is?
What's that, Jim?
No, I'm serious here for a minute.
Okay.
This is really true. Wisdom is the balance between study, education, which does not mean a degree or a sheepskin. It means being able to read and comprehend, study, research, surf the internet, go to the library, learn things, learning, okay? It's the balance between learning and world experience. You know, because I know people who have all kinds of degrees, but to tell you the truth, they couldn't find their butt with both hands in the dark, you know?
Yeah.
But,
I've had a couple.
On the other hand, I know people who maybe only had a 8th grade or a high school education, but they've kept up. They've studied, they've read, and they've traveled. And they've traveled a lot. And these people are worth listening to because they know what they're talking about. They've had world experience. So when you can balance that learning with that world experience, that's what gives you wisdom.
Well, then count me in because I barely made it out of the 6th grade, but I've lived a few places.
You've been around the block a few times.
Oh, I was looking with the 4th Army. My dad was in the 4th Army band.
Well, you know, I always kid about the 4th Army because that's what I was in during Vietnam. But then after Vietnam, they dissolved the entire army. There's no more 4th Army. So man, when I got out, the whole army just fell apart.
Yeah, he was in the 4th Army band and the 5th Army band. The 5th Army band was, I believe, this is going back, 40 years now for me, 45 years. But I think the 5th Army was in Chicago at Fort Sheridan. I think the 4th Army band was in Frankfurt, if I'm right. Does that ring?
Possibly, but now when I was in there, headquarters of 4th Army was at Fort Sam Houston. Down in Texas.
Right. See, I don't know, man. I don't know.
Who knows? They shift those things all around.
I used to. They do. I used to. I used to have the patches. And that's so I always knew where he was from the patches. I would, cut him off his uniforms and.
I figured out something in the Army, especially during wartime like Vietnam. Best place to be is in the band.
Yeah, hey, trust me on this. He did, 30 years, in the military and in the Army band. And aside from, and I remember him telling me this once because the Army band, that was the most out of shape, overweight, pasty musicians, right? Because
but he probably got a Purple Heart for a bruised lip on his trombone.
Exactly. That he told me once that he only fired his gun or a gun in basic training, right? And then after that, he's in the Army band. That's it. So they didn't have They do it now, but back I remember when they said they didn't have PT. So the rest of the base every single day is out running, at the crack of dawn, doing their PT, but not the Army band.
No, not the band.
Those guys got to sleep.
They only had to get up in time for practice.
Right. I swear. And then
I know. Well, listen, nothing's the way it seems to be in the Army. Here's one of my little stories. I was in a military intelligence unit, okay, and our MOS was prisoner interrogation, okay. Now, since I never actually made it overseas, I didn't really have any prisoners to interrogate, but that's what we were supposed to be training for. So one day they sent this crusty old sergeant major, saying he had all kinds of stripes up and down his arms. They sent him down from the DOD, Department of Defense, and he had a movie that they had made, Hollywood style. Boy, it was slick. It was really color. It was a good movie, and it was training on how to interrogate prisoners. And we were all just in there kind of shocked, because here they showed this picture of this poor little old Vietnamese guy, propped up in this huge bed. And they said, okay, when you capture a guy, tend to his wounds, see if he's got any problems, medical attention, give him medical attention, fix him up. And here he was in a hospital bed. They said, feed him, take care of him. They brought him in, and what they showed in this movie was he got a steak and a baked potato, full of chives and sour cream and cheese, and man, it looked great, on the movie. But of course, I'm sitting there thinking, like, well, this poor Vietnamese guy, he probably had never had but fish heads in his rice in his whole life. This steak and this potato's probably cruel and unusual punishment for him, really.
Right.
But then they gave us all this, and so then the lights came up. And basically the idea was treat them good, and then they'll talk to you. The lights come up, and this old sergeant gets up. He says, now, if that doesn't work, take 3 of them up in the helicopter, throw one of them out. The rest will tell you everything you want to know.
I thought you were going to tell me you were crushing up like phenobarbital or something and putting it in the potato and getting him to sing like a bird.
No. It's real simple. You take 3 up in the helicopter, you throw 1 out. The others will tell you everything.
Well, it worked in Scarface for sure. I wanted to actually start off and kind of hit you upside the head out of the gate tonight, and ask you this, Jim: are we living in a hologram right now? I'm just wondering. It feels like a bad dream right now. What is this?
Especially with everything that's happening right now. But,
yeah.
Philosophically, we do know that we're living in an energetic universe. And we also know that everything I'm sitting here behind a desk, and I'm knocking on this desk. It seems real hard and real heavy. It's cherry wood, I think. And if I was to drop this desk on your head, you'd crush your head. You'd really hurt. And so we really think everything's real. But yet we know from our science that this desk is nothing but a collection of atoms. And atoms, they're all scrunched together and formed into this desk. But these atoms, if you go down to the atomic level, you find that an atom is 98% empty space.
Right.
The rest of it's just those protons, photons, whirling around. So the whole universe is just an energy ball, okay? So yes, in a way, everything that's ever been, everything that ever will be, is already here in the energy ball, in the energy universe. Now, our problem is that we're the needle on the phonograph record. We only know, and we can only experience where the needle is in the grooves. And yet, there's hundreds of grooves on either side of us. It just goes on and on and on and on.
Right.
So in a philosophic way, yes, we are kind of living in a holographic universe. But now that's the broad philosophic look. You bring it down to more macrocosm, and yes, we are living in the matrix, okay? But unlike the movie, we're not physically hooked into computers, but we are surrounded by an electromagnetic field that creates a matrix. And I'm talking about the 6 corporations that control everything we see and hear.
Right.
They control everything from book publishing to book clubs to they determine what's the top 10 bestsellers. They, just on and on and on. They control the networks, the stations, the radio, the TV, magazines, newspapers, billboards. Everything we see and hear is controlled by 6 corporations with interconnected owners and directors.
Yeah, and that's
so yes, we're living in the matrix.
Exactly. And when I want to clarify for the audience right now that's listening to me, listen to what I am saying. The idea of the Hollywood version of The Matrix and that movie, if somebody wants to watch that movie and come away from that going, wow, that's a possibility of reality, okay, that's up to you. That is, when I say, are we living in a holographic world, that is not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to exactly what Mr. Mars just said. There is an illusion that is going around us that is real. You can watch it, look, touch, feel. It is there. And it is controlling 100% our emotions and how we walk and talk and think. And that's what I am talking about here. Don't even think I'm some tripped out dude that thinks, we're all plugged in, in the back of our head. That's not what I'm referring to.
No. But, hey, the proof, let me give you the proof of this, Jimmy. Because I've been looking at, being an old police reporter, I keep up with the crime statistics. And actually, statistically, crime is about 25% down in the United States today over what it was 20 or 30 years ago. Okay? So we have less crime today than we did then. And yet today, we're more fearful because the media jumps on, harps on, and drags out every dastardly murder, gang rape, shooting, mass shooting, you name it, and it's played for days and weeks, and the public is not only traumatized but fear-driven because of this matrix.
And with I can tell right here in Los Angeles in 1985 in Los Angeles, pretty much no man's land. Okay, it was a scary place to be. Venice Beach, Sylmar, San Fernando Valley, parts of North Hollywood, Van Nuys, South Central, Watts. Pomona. There were some crazy parts of this town where the police, quite honestly, did not care about, wouldn't go into because they were scared. And it was a violent place. It's not like that here anymore. It's truly not. The turnaround is here, but the media doesn't want you to believe that.
You wouldn't know it by the media, would you?
Right. And I don't understand why, and I know that there's some injustice going on around this country right now, and I understand that, and we need to rope that in and get it under control. But the events that have gone down in this last 12 months with the fear porn and that holographic thing that they want you to live inside of, it's a case of divide and conquer, isn't it?
Right. Hey, when I was a young kid, I always thought, hey, if you get in trouble, find a policeman. He's your friend. He'll help you. Okay? And then, man, how it's changed over the years. I noticed at first when my kids were young, and we'd be driving along, and they'd say, "Watch out, Dad, there's a cop." Mm-hmm. And I'm going, wait a minute, when did all this start? I was always thought to be respectful of the police and look up to them, And this is a double-edged sword. Because yes, there are problems. I'm the first one to admit that. I was a police reporter for 12 years, for God's sakes. I know that you always have a few bad apples in the barrel, right? And I wouldn't put up with them. In fact, I had a really good reputation with the police department I was working with because most of them were good guys, and they knew I was a good guy, but they also knew I told the truth. And so since I told the truth, and if somebody pulled a boner and somebody didn't do what they were supposed to, I'd report on it. And they knew that, and they gave me they honored me for being honest. There were a handful of them though that were dirty, and they didn't like me at all, of course, because they knew I'd tell on them if I got the chance. So anyway, that was my background. So there's nobody that holds the police officer's job in higher esteem than me, but we do have to be on guard, and we have to be constantly on guard, because anytime you get a group of people together, you're gonna have the 2%. You're gonna have a bad apple or two, and we should not allow them to get by with that just by closing the wagons, circling the wagons, and forming a defensive type thing. But then on the other hand, we cannot turn into a society where we are at odds with our law enforcement people. I mean, God, where are we going to be then?
No, that's exactly right. And I'm going to tell you right now, I'm going on the 100% side of this. 100%. Somebody who is absolutely anti-blue, right? Anti-cop, anti-this, man, but whatever, right? And they are just going down that road. And there's a home invasion robbery. Somebody kicks down the front door, holds your family at gunpoint. You're calling the police. That's the first thing you're going to do. So
I know.
100%.
They're the bad guys until you need them.
Right. Hey, now I want to have a little fun with you. This Mandela Effect thing has been messing with me and everybody else. And I just came off of this David Icke conference here in Southern California. And the main talk there with everybody during the breaks, Mandela Effect, Mandela Effect. People coming up to me left and right, Mandela Effect. And this happened to me a couple of months ago on the show, and it has not stopped. I still get email every day. I get posts. I get references. And it was this. This guy calls up and says, so, Jimmy, how many people were in Kennedy's car at Dealey Plaza when he got shot? And I go, well, 4. And he goes, no. And I go, no, it was 4. It was him, his wife, it was Connolly. Well, hold on. Let me finish.
Okay. All right.
and Connolly in the front seat.
You're getting into my territory now.
That's why I'm talking to you. So, it was him, Jackie, Connolly in the front, and then a driver. And the guy goes, no, there was 6. And I go, no, there wasn't. It was, 1, 2, 3, 4. And he goes, no, it was 6. Connolly was in the middle seat with his wife, and in the front seat were 2 Secret Service agents.
That's right. The driver was William Greer.
Right.
And next to him was Roy Kellerman.
Right.
In the shotgun seat. And then behind them on little fold-down jump seats was Governor Connolly and his wife Nellie. And then behind them on a padded elevated seat was Kennedy and Jackie.
Now, of course, I know this now, right? But I go and I'm just thinking to myself, wait a minute. Now, trip on this, Jim. I would say, I'm going to say that probably 90% of the phone calls that I've gotten, 90% of the emails that I've gotten, the posts, the Facebook, they just Twitter, everybody that has responded back has said 4. Now, I don't know how or where things have gotten screwed up. Memory is clouded or what have you, or why it has happened like it has. But, and I don't know. I don't know what to attribute it to. But when I say something like that to you, are you just like blown away that the majority of people, and you could do it yourself. You could go up, don't go up, just to people that you don't know, right?
Right.
And go up and ask them, they're going to tell you 4. What is that? Does that trip you out? It trips me out.
Well, hey, they've done plenty of studies showing that our memories are totally defective, okay?
Mm-hmm.
We remember the things we want to remember. We don't remember the things we don't want to remember. And the things that we don't remember correctly. We remember it totally colored by our experience and what we thought at the time.
Okay. I'm going to ask you this. The Challenger disaster, the first shuttle disaster, the Challenger disaster. Do you remember where you were when you saw it that day?
I remember the disaster, but I'm not sure where. I guess I was just here at the house. What year?
That's my next question. Okay, so let's not go there. I want you to remember where you were and go back to that moment and then try to figure out the year that it happened in.
Well, let me see here.
Don't.
In the 80s. It was in the 80s, so I'm going to say 85 or 86.
Okay. Well, which one are you leaning on?
I'm going to say 86.
Oh, well, see, that's why you're the smart guy. Yeah, well, it was in.
Now let me ask you this one. This one gets me kind of along with the Mandela thing, you know. Do you remember when you were a kid and you read the Bernstein Bear books?
Yep.
I do. Was it Bernstein or Berenstein Berenstain?
I thought it was Berenstain. You know, that was
okay. Then I guess you're right. I could have sworn I remembered it as Berenstein, but then maybe that's just faulty memory. It is Berenstain. Berenstain.
But I thought it was A-N-E. I didn't think it was E-I-N.
There we go.
Yeah.
Now here's the thing that will mess with your mind. Is that back to the holographic universe and the energetic universe? If this is a universe and it's just all one big glob of energy, but there are different dimensions, okay? Just like different grooves on the phonograph record. Now we only are aware of where the needle is, where we are, and what we look around, what we see, what we feel, touch, what we can experience. That's all we know. But there's all this stuff on the other side. Now, they are already saying, scientists are already saying, you know, we only know the 3 dimensions, but they say now they're pretty sure there's 10 dimensions and maybe more. So if there's other dimensions, then maybe as we move along, as we all make our individual decisions, and as we go through life, then we move off into these different dimensional threads, pathways, if you will. Now, and if something should happen, and it alters the timeline, then time is self-correcting. So what I'm saying is, it could be that way back there it was the Berenstain Bears, or maybe we really did read that, and it was on the news that Nelson Mandela died in prison. But somewhere along the line, the time dimensions shifted. And time corrects itself, so all of a sudden you go back, you're not going to find any. I've looked for stories, news stories, you know, that says Nelson Mandela died in prison, and you don't seem to find any. So it either didn't happen or time got changed.
Yep, and in that Mandela effect, going back, Ringo Starr really could play drums. See, that's the thing. That's the thing. Hey, Jim, we're gonna take a break right here. We got the one and only Jim Mars right here on Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, and now when we come back, we're gonna jump right into the weekend's events in New York City and New Jersey. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. More with Jim Mars right after this break. Stay right there.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Attention CPAP users. Stop the insanity and torture of your CPAP mask. Don't you hate the skin irritation and terrible leaks? Jump on the CPAP Pro train. Invented by an actual CPAP user that became so frustrated with CPAP masks. Are you ready to try something new? With absolutely no straps or headgear? Go to nomask.com and get the best night's sleep ever. Free to Medicare patients. Go to nomask.com. That's NOMASK.com.
If your home has hard water, then it's likely that limescale is clogging your pipes, damaging your appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars each year. You can eliminate limescale in the entire house with HydroCare products available at Wave Home Solutions. Easy and efficient with no maintenance, no salts, no chemicals, and no coils. And you can buy with confidence from Wave Home Solutions. Performance guaranteed. Just go to bestwater411.com. That's bestwater411.com.
These statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Work with your doctor when taking medications. Make Protovite part of your healthy lifestyle.
HealthForLiberty.com is your source for Protovite, a powerful nutritional supplement that's a true breakthrough for your health. Poor digestion makes it nearly impossible to absorb the nutrition your body needs. Protovite is a liquid multi-nutrient formula with patent-pending absorption technology and the highest quality ingredients to nourish every cell in your body.
My name is Sandra White. 6 weeks ago, when I started taking Protovite, I was on 14 medications, from everything for blood pressure to fibromyalgia. In the first 10 days, my blood sugar dropped 50 points, and my fibromyalgia pain is gone. And so was 12 of the 14 medications that I was taking. I'm 66, living life and loving it.
Go to healthforliberty.com right now. That's healthforliberty.com.
Thank you, Protovite, for giving my life back.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, Jim Mars. Tomorrow night, John Rappaport is going to be here. Open lines. Fader night. Friday night, I'm over at Coast to Coast, and my guest is going to be Steve Murillo. He's going to be live in the studio with me over at Coast. And then I will also be I'll be at Coast Saturday night, too, as well. And my guests are going to be Ben Hansen and Caroline Corey. So that's it. I get no days off this week. I'm working like Jim Mars does. Yeah, you know, Jim, you write 4 books at a time, right? Is that what you?
I wish. I'll tell you, I've had people ask me, what it's like to write a book, and I say, well, did you ever write a term paper in college? And they went, oh God, yes, that was one of the worst things I ever had to do. I said, okay. Picture writing 1,000 term papers.
Yeah, right. I was going to say 100. Yeah.
Yeah, and now you got what it's like writing a book.
Now, before
and then when, on my latest book, Population Control, which has gotten uniformly good reviews, and yet on Amazon I got dragged down to a 4 or 4.5 instead of a straight 5, because when I went and looked at the ones that gave me a 1 or 2, they were complaining not about the content but the price of the book. And I just wanted to reach through the computer and grab these people and shake them and say, look, that's the publisher. I don't have anything to do with that. I don't set the price. Don't downgrade my book just because you think it costs too much. I might even agree with you, but I have no say-so over that.
Yeah, everybody wants everything for free and right now. That's just the way that it is. What do you mean I can't download this for free? It should be for free.
I know. I've kind of changed my attitude on that a little bit, because I've been reading about some people. Number one, Stephen King was the first person to try to publish a fictional book on the internet, right?
I do remember that, yes.
Do you remember who published the first nonfiction book on the internet?
You.
Me. Yours
Yep.
truly.
Yep.
And it didn't work any better for me than it worked for Stephen King. They just weren't ready for it at that time. obviously. But what I found out though is that sometimes when some of these people get real torqued off when you publish their music or their writing on the internet. And yet they've done some studies, and what they show is when you'll put something up on the internet that's basically kind of free, a lot of people look at it, and the ones that look at it tell their friends. Their friends go out and buy some, and it actually increases your sales.
Yep.
Rather than inhibit your sales.
That's right.
Isn't that interesting?
Well, and look, this program is free. Fade to Black is free. It broadcasts for free. It's just like driving down the road in your car. Well, you can. You just plug in your phone into your car, and you've got it in your car like everybody does these days, right? iHeartRadio and so forth. So this show was free, and I debated so many different other platforms out there about the attitude. And I just thought, you know what? No, man, I'm not going to fix it if it ain't broke. This show is free. I'm going to put commercials in, and that's it. But this show is free, and it has worked for us. Now, listen, Jim, I just got one of the weirdest tweets. I thought that I knew everything. If there was something to this, I'm going to ask you this right now, and I didn't know about it, I'm going to be in shock. But somebody just tweeted that did Chandra Levy tell Bill Cooper about 9/11 and leak it to him? Do you know anything about this? What is that?
That sounds somewhat familiar, but I can't really place it.
Yeah.
But there's a whole lot to Chandra Levy. There's a whole huge story there, and the connection she had.
No doubt. No doubt.
So it's entirely possible because of her roommates and the connection she had that she might have learned something about 9/11. Okay,
well,
I mean she wouldn't be the only insider who, like what was his name? Larry Johnson, the black guy that was in Building 7.
Right.
He disappeared. A lot of witnesses have disappeared. A lot of people have died. More than 1,000 of the first responders are already dead, and more are dying because of blood cell cancer, radiation. Okay, and of course, just like they told us in the days after 9/11 that the air is perfectly okay, well, they also told us, there's no over the limits radiation, but there was, and just like there was poisons in the air, and that's why I think it's so important. Because here, we're 50 years plus after the Kennedy assassination, and today most everybody understands that it was a conspiracy, and it was originated at the highest levels of the federal government of the United States. It was a coup d'etat, okay? I said that and wrote that and had that in a headline in a major newspaper in 1975, but then who listens to me? But they do. The polls show that people have caught up now. But that's 50 years on. We're 15 years out from 9/11, and we are still feeling the ramifications. We're still fighting in Iraq. We're still fighting in Afghanistan. Now we're fighting in Syria. Now we're fighting in Libya. Now we're fighting, everywhere else. And this is all part of the plan. This was all planned by Rumsfeld and Dick Cheney all the way back into the Gerald Ford administration.
Right.
And then, of course, the year before 9/11, they were all members, along with Doc Zolikoff and the rest of them, the rest of those neocons, they were all members of the Project for New American Century, which was a neocon think tank, and they published an article, and they said we need to gain control over the oil resources of the Middle East by putting more troops in there, and we need to have regime change in several of those nations, including Afghanistan, Iraq, but whoever authored that paper was pretty prescient. They said this is going to be a hard sell to the American people unless there is a catalyzing and catastrophic event like a new Pearl Harbor. Well, a year later they got it.
Right.
And I think that we should cast aside all of this, well, let's all hug each other, feel good, and we need to start thinking coolly and rationally about what really happened and who really did it, so that we can try to get this country back on track.
What do you think about the new bomber that was just shot and arrested out there in New York, where he didn't die, right? They didn't kill him. We actually have one of these criminals, terrorists, whatever, taken alive. Why do you think he's alive?
Well, I would keep my eye on him very closely. He may end up being one of these people who hangs himself in his jail cell or eats a poisoned apple,
right,
from the jail canteen. It's not like that hasn't happened, right?
Right.
So, yeah, although he also could be one of these brainwashed guys like Sirhan Sirhan. Sirhan Sirhan now says that he still doesn't remember shooting Robert Kennedy, but he does remember being infatuated with a girl in a polka dot dress who led him into the pantry. And then he can't remember what happened. And then there have been more than one psychologist or psychiatrist who have studied Sirhan Sirhan, and they said that he shows very clear evidence of hypnotic blocks. Okay? And there's just a whole weird interconnected story there of CIA mind control, and the fact that they, ever since taking in the Nazi mind control scientists after World War II, they were working very hard and heavy on trying to see if they couldn't develop a brainwashed assassin. That was even portrayed quite accurately back there in that old Frank Sinatra movie, The Manchurian Candidate.
Well, I thought that it was surprising to me that he was taken alive. Right. And
that's not the usual MO.
No, it poo-poos so many different conventional conspiracies, right? And
that's true.
It certainly
but
stops
then
that.
You also have to understand, Jimmy, that, stuff happens. Maybe he is the one odd duck, lone assassin
bomber, right?
Guy,
yeah, maybe he is
bomber. Yeah,
right.
Could be. That's not outside the realm of possibility. All I know is that ever since 9/11, which by the way was an inside job, and I could prove it, every other major terrorist event that we've had in this country, and especially the threats, the ones that they catch. Remember the young punks that said they were going to bomb the Sears Tower in Chicago, but they were in Florida and they got caught.
Right.
Remember the shoe bomber, blah blah blah. All of these. When you really peel back the onion, you find that there was always an FBI or CIA informant, some undercover guy in there, egging it on. And in fact, if you go back to the 1993 bombing of the North World Trade Center Tower, we now know, and that's been confirmed in courtroom testimony, that was the work not of terrorists, but of the FBI.
That's right. And
right?
When people go, it's our government. They just wouldn't do anything like that. They just wouldn't do it. The fact that
I wish I could go back to believing things like that.
I know. Right.
And then Santa Claus would come and give me gifts, and the Easter Bunny would bring me eggs and candies, and man, it would be so nice. But hey, come on, folks. What we now know is that this government, and back in the good old days, knew full well that Pearl Harbor was going to be attacked on the morning of December the 7th, 1941, and did nothing to stop it. In fact, took a few steps like getting the aircraft carriers out of Pearl Harbor and failing to deliver the new radar equipment there, and not telling Pearl Harbor about the broken Japanese code, a few little things like that kind of helped the attack move right along. And there was 3,000 American lives lost, got us into World War II, and it was all This one, though, was different from 9/11 in that Pearl Harbor, the Japanese actually really did attack Pearl Harbor. So it was an attack, even though we basically created it because in the summer of 1941, we cut off the oil supplies to Japan, an island nation with no resources of their own. And that left them really no choice but to strike out, do something, and then when we broke their code and found out they were coming, we didn't do anything to stop it. Okay, 9/11, on the other hand, was a contrived event.
Yeah, and today,
a false flag, as they say.
Today, this guy gets shot in the leg. Right, gets thrown. He's conscious. Goes in the back of the ambulance and takes off. He's conscious. Today they announced, he's unconscious and can't talk.
Right. Yeah. Well, who does that sound like? That sounds like the bomber in Philadelphia, right?
Yes.
Kid,
yes.
Right? Yeah. You know, they whisked him off, put him in a hospital, until, and nobody could talk to him, nobody could hear anything, and they said he was in such serious condition, and yet somehow he was able to write a confession on the side of a boat, Come on, folks. I mean, who was, I think my old buddy George Carlin says, we're living the American dream. You got to be asleep to believe any of this stuff.
And then on Monday, today's only Wednesday, Crazy News Week, we have this UN aid convoy that was obviously attacked on its way into Aleppo. And the United States says it was Russian and Syrian aircraft that attacked it. The Russians are saying, no, they didn't, that there was an American drone in the vicinity. They knew about that. Now they're pointing the fingers at each other when both sides, and I said this, and both sides know exactly what went down. They both know.
Of course. Come on. You can't even sneeze without the NSA picking it up somewhere.
And what do you think ultimately really happened there?
Oh, well, I have no idea. All I know is I don't trust anything I hear in the news because, we fabricate it and the other side fabricates it. But I will say this. I almost wish that Vladimir Putin was on the ballot in November. I'd be tempted to vote for him, because here's the thing, folks. Let's just back off and look at the big picture. When communism collapsed and the Russian military was occupying all of Eastern Europe, what was in Yugoslavia, Czechoslovakia, the Baltic states, Poland, okay? Now, did the freedom-loving West, did we run them out? No. They said, okay, communism collapsed, and we're having money problems. Tell you what, we will just voluntarily move our troops out of Eastern Europe if you will guarantee that not to expand NATO. We don't want any more nations surrounding us. We've already been invaded 3 times now from Western Europe, twice by Napoleon and once by Hitler, and that's why we wanted this buffer zone. But we'll pull out of there if you'll promise not to expand NATO. And we said, okay. And yet, what have we done? We've expanded NATO. In fact, we are ringing Russia with missile installations in Turkey, in Poland, and other areas. They're trying to work it into the Ukraine. Okay, so I have to ask. Wait a minute. Who's the aggressors? Who's the bad guys here?
Well, it's a tough thing because on one side you want to be, the good American, right? You want to be the patriot. You don't want to say anything negative. And on the if you step back from all of this, it just with objective rose-colored glasses, right, and take a look at it.
Right.
What are we doing? It just doesn't make any sense.
I think we're caught just like the Germans were caught during World War II. Okay, they loved their country. They were very patriotic, but their government fell into criminal hands and into hands that were just too warped out, and it led them to disaster. Put yourself in the mind of a Russian soldier on the Russian front. You know, he's freezing to death. He hasn't got any food. The Russians are all around him. He's absolutely miserable, and he's wondering, what the hell am I doing here?
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
I need to be back in Dusseldorf. Okay, now bring that forward. What about our guys and gals? You know, suffering in the heat and the dust of the mountains of Afghanistan. Wait a minute, what am I doing here? You know, what's happening here? Did Afghanistan attack the United States? No. Were any of those named hijackers on 9/11 Afghans? No. Were they Iraqis? No. They were Saudis. Supposedly our closest friends, and certainly and well documented the closest friends and business partners of the Bush family.
But yet here we are. And I was looking at some images over the last week of the condition of not only northern Iraq, but Syria right now. There's nothing left.
No, we have quite literally bombed them back to the Stone Age.
There is nothing
we did
left.
that in Vietnam, but I think so many of them were already in the Stone Age. But now we really have. We've devastated those countries.
Devastated. I mean, I was looking at some pictures of Mosul that, you know, ISIS occupies. There is nothing left of that city. There's not a building that has not been bombed completely. It is devastating. And what's left of Syria now? What is truly left of Syria? Nothing.
Not much.
There wasn't much there before.
The one that got me was Libya. Okay, because Libya, before we focused our attention on it here in recent years, was one of the most progressive and open of the Muslim countries. They were one of the most secular. Their literacy rate was higher than any of the other Muslim countries. Their economic system was doing quite well. Gaddafi, against the wish, this is where he messed up. Against the wishes of the International Monetary Fund and the World Bank, he was building a water viaduct, bringing a good potable water up from southern Libya up to the seacoast, where they were going to use to irrigate and turn the place into a garden spot. That would also, of course, put him in a position of being able to ship water cheaply to Europe and sell water, which would have put him in competition with Perrier and Coca-Cola and Pepsi-Cola. Okay, so that was bad. And then he turned around and he was working with other African nations to create a gold-backed dinar, a monetary unit backed by gold, which, of course, would have not been good for the U.S. dollar. So, you know, just because he was doing things good for his country, we had to go and just completely devastate that country.
Yep. All he said was, you know what, I'm not going to do the petrodollar.
That's
and
right.
that was the end of that story.
That was the end of that. Well, you know, let's face it. Here in the United States, we've had only two presidents who have tried to thwart the international bankers. And one was Abraham Lincoln when he produced his own greenbacks through the Treasury Department to finance the war between the states. And the other was John F. Kennedy in June of 1963 when he issued $4.2 billion in silverback Treasury notes, okay, bypassing the Federal Reserve notes that we have to pay interest on. And Jimmy, I don't think it was just some coincidence that both those presidents were shot in the head in public.
What, okay, we're going to talk about this after the break too as well. I want you to put your conspiracy, the tinfoil hat version of conspiracy on for me for a second. What do you think about these websites out there and these YouTube videos of cloned Hillary? Hillary is dead. Hillary is not alive. This is a body double. Is that just taking things a little bit too far?
Well, of course, there's always people, and sometimes well-intentioned people who just get way out on a limb. You know, it's not beyond the realm of possibility she died, but I don't think so. Okay, but I do know that the woman who bounced out of Chelsea's apartment and said, "Great day in New York, I'm feeling great," and bent over and spread her pneumonia to that little girl who turned out to be an actor, that was not Hillary Clinton.
You feel pretty confident?
I'm very, very confident. You look at her face, look at the roundness of it, the smoothness of it. Just it's not the real Hillary Clinton.
But
and that bothers me because I can understand where they want to downplay it. They want to act like she's better off than she is, and blah 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 and all like that. But the fact that they would go to that extent to deceive us, and this is before the election, just think they would do after they got in office.
Well, don't
and
you?
Of course, it's nothing new.
Well, don't you think, Jim, that in today's this is where I'm just going to try to stay objective, okay?
Right.
That in today's media, with everybody's got a video camera now with their cell phones,
right.
and streaming live video streams everywhere, that that would be the last thing that they would try to do, because if you really got caught doing that, whatever the excuse is, it's over. As criminal as she is, right? As wrong as she is.
You think that would be too dangerous.
Right. And dumb.
But what you're neglecting to think about or recall is that they control the mass media. The mass media was there. They took pictures of her coming out. They took pictures of her falling down. They had to load her in the van. She couldn't even stand up. And then, an hour and a half later, she's bouncing out. "I'm fine. I'm good," And she's shorter. She's thicker. She's more smooth-faced. It looks a lot like Hillary. But now, where on ABC, CNN, Fox, any of the major networks, where was anybody saying, I don't think that's her. I think that's a double. They never said that. So the bulk of the people who watch TV, it never even came up. And then when the internet gets alive and there are people going, "Look, that doesn't look like her, and that not the same size, not the same height, blah, blah, blah." Well, then they're just conspiracy theorists.
Well, I see. This is the thing, because I love a good conspiracy, my brother. I'm right there with you. But I looked at those videos and it just didn't hit me at all. And it's funny because I trust you and I trust your eyes and I trust your opinion. But it just didn't grab me. I really wanted to go, "Holy crap, that's a body double." Oh man, but no, it just didn't hit me that way, Jim.
Well, I can't argue with you because I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
All I know is major media just acted like it was a big nothing. "Oh yeah, she did kind of clamp. So, oh well, she got the flu. Not flu, got pneumonia. No, maybe not pneumonia. Maybe something else. But anyway, she was well enough to bend down and talk to the little girl, and give her the pneumonia."
Right. Well, one thing's for sure. She didn't look right when she stumbled on the van and nearly face planted, no doubt.
Right.
She did trip and fall on the airplane, and that, and it just seems.
Well, did you read where Bill said that for some years now she's had fainting spells?
Right.
And then that got censored out of a lot of the mainstream media. It's really incredible the things you pick up. I learned this years ago in the newspaper. I'd read the newspaper from cover to cover, and there were sometimes little bitty old 2 or 3 paragraph stories backed by the classified ads that you just go, "Holy cow," because it's a hell of a story. But it gets buried, and most people don't even see it. And if they see it, they don't think it must be much because it's only 2 or 3 paragraphs in the back of the newspaper. Now, that was years ago.
Right.
Back in the good old days, back in the days of the Republic when we actually had a media. And, boy, today everything's under such tight control, it doesn't make it. Or if it does make it, it gets twisted around. Or if it gets twisted around, it gets left out. I mean, there's 100 ways of controlling the news.
And now we're going to take a break right here, Jim. And when we come back, I'm not going to leave anybody alone here. There's a conspiracy going on with this election. If you want to talk conspiracy, right now in the United States, we've got the greatest conspiracy of all with what we've been presented to the American people for choices. And
it is a conspiracy, isn't it?
It is, 100%.
It's not just one person.
No, it's not. It only takes 2. My guest tonight, Jim Mars, and it does take 2. It's me and Jim. Jim and I will be right back with Jim Mars. Stay right there.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal God on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
KGRA Radio. Intelligent talk.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Are you tired of brown rust stains on your toilets, sinks, and clothes? Does your water smell and taste bad? Don't live with these problems anymore. HydroCare's revolutionary well water systems, available at Wave Home Solutions, gives you clean, healthy, great-tasting water from every faucet. They remove iron, hydrogen sulfide, sediment, and many other contaminants that are distasteful and damaging your fixtures. You'll be amazed how fresh and clean well water can be. Satisfaction guaranteed. Go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7, with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on the smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Fate or not, things are never what they seem. For the past century, forbidden subjects such as UFOs, backward engineering, human abductions, secret space programs, underground bases, suppressed free energy devices, and other fantastic notions have tested the human mind, forcing it to decipher fact from fiction. Chronicling what he calls the alternative narrative, author Brad Olson gets down to the middle of it all in his best-selling book, Future Esoteric, now released in a second edition by CCC Publishing. And now, you can get Future Esoteric at a special price, plus another free book by just using the promo code Jimmy when you check out. Just click on the Future Esoteric or CCC Publishing banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Go Beckley Teppy. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Teppy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. Our guest tonight, the one and only Jim Mars. There is nothing like, my friends, sitting down and having a conversation with Jim. It's kind of like, Jim, you're kind of like a potluck dinner, right? That's what you are.
Smorgasbord.
Yeah, a smorgasbord.
That's right. You get a little of this and a little of that, and some of what you want, some of what you don't want.
Yep. But you're going to walk away fulfilled.
Well, I would hope so. Well, let me ask you this.
Sure.
You know, with everything else that's going on, should we be fearing alien invasion?
Well,
I mean, you know, Voyager 2 is now out past the solar system. So that's it's the farthest any man-made object has ever been, and it's still carrying images of a man and woman, and kind of a map where the Earth is located, and a little bit of history of Earth, and even some snatches of Earth music. And naturally, you've got Chopin, Beethoven, but what gets me is Chuck Berry's out there with playing Johnny B. Good to the universe. Now, it's what's that going to do, and who's that going to bring?
This is what trips me out about that. And I wanted to go back to the conspiracy of the election, and we'll visit that in a minute because you raise a good point. And it's this, everybody. Carl Sagan, who we all respect and love, there's no doubt about it.
Billions and billions.
Billions and billions. Is he kind of flip-flopped on us, right?
Yeah.
He kind of flip-flopped. And
he likes those government contracts.
He does. He respects the money. But Voyager, from Star Trek, Voyager was his idea. And they looked to him, and so the bottom line is, if there isn't any aliens out there, the official government position on this, what are you doing putting all of this stuff on there? Who are you expecting to make contact with, Carl?
Right, exactly.
Right?
Well, one of my favorite cartoons I saw one time was a Carl Sagan-looking character sitting at a radio set, with some earphones on, and he's going, nothing here, let's try another frequency. And on the side of it, it says SETI, S-E-T-I, search for extraterrestrial intelligence. Okay, well, while he's on the radio and he's listening to his earphones, he's going, nothing here, let's try another frequency. Out the window behind him, you see a UFO lifting a cow up, you see a crop circle forming, you see all this stuff going on. It's like, wait a minute, why are we sitting here talking about trying to contact, extraterrestrials at some far-off location with electromagnetic radio signals? Who knows that they're going to even be using that old-fashioned technology? We're almost past that already. And yet, right here on Earth, we got so many weird things going on that nobody can really explain.
Well, what's funny to me is the discovery of Proxima B, the closest star to us, four light years away, 4.5, and the closest
next door, really.
There cannot be another planet closer to us. It's that simple, right? That's it. But it was also the last one that we found. Why didn't we go there first and look there first? I thought that was, I thought
that's like somebody looking through binoculars, trying to see something a mile away when it's right under their feet, But the thing is, this is all handled. Did you ever read Battlefield Earth? It came back out in the early '80s, I think. I read that about, and they made a terrible movie out of it. But it was really a good story, and it was. Here's what's interesting: it wasn't like today, where we have Independence Day and the aliens come and they blow up everything and try to destroy everybody. In Battlefield Earth, interestingly enough, written by L. Ron Hubbard, who, before he ever got into Scientology, he actually was quite a well-known science fiction writer. In fact, he was right up there, regarded right up there with Arthur C. Clarke and Isaac Asimov and Ray Bradbury and all these other classic science fiction authors. So in Battlefield Earth, it's the intergalactic bankers who loan money to the Intergalactic Mining Corporation so they can come and strip mine the resources of the Earth. And there were these pesky humans there, that they had to kind of shove off and get rid of. And this was the book takes place 1,000 years after alien occupation. And it's really interesting to think about. We ought to be a little more cautious about who we advertise our existence to, because whoever might respond and come over here might not be somebody we want. And if it turned out to be that case, then Battlefield Earth gives a pretty good template on how the humans rally together and throw off the alien occupation.
Didn't you just give me a copy of that?
You did. I think so.
Yeah, you did. Yeah,
and I know you haven't had time to read it. I don't blame you, but hey, put it in the bathroom. Read a little bit every day.
Things like 2,000 pages, man. It's like 2 Bibles.
Yeah, but hey, that's nothing. One reason I mention that is because they just came out with a re-release, a new edition of Battlefield Earth. But the one that really gets me is they're also offering a 47.5-hour-long audio book, of this, featuring 67 voice actors portraying 198 characters, utilizing over 150,000 sound effects, and with a full cinematographic musical score. It's like a movie for your mind. If you have any long commutes, this would be perfect, man. Just put that thing on and watch the car ahead of you and just move along.
Well, what do you make of speaking about the mass media that is obviously controlled by 6 corporations, talking about aliens like they have in this last year? You've been writing about this for a long time. Have you ever seen it like this before in the media?
No, and that's why I really believe that we are coming very close to what a lot of people call disclosure, which means, I think what that basically means is public acknowledgement that we're not alone on this planet. And, of course, there's already a goodly number of people in this country who already believe that. It's just that people who don't watch TV, people who don't read, people, people in the hinterlands, and not just in the hinterlands, but in a lot of big cities, just people who are not aware, we're waiting on somebody with some real authority to stand up and say, yes, folks, we're really not alone. And I don't think that's going to be any big deal. Do you, Jimmy?
I truly don't. Look, I've said this, Jim. If the message was, if Obama steps up to the podium and says, "We are alone," right? We're alone. That's it. That I'm telling you right now, no aliens, no contact, no nothing. We know that we are completely alone. That will cause anarchy in the streets because we don't have any reason to live. There's no reason. Right. I mean, let's just burn this sucker down. Let's party, right?
Well, my basic comment on this is, I'm sorry. I actually like to think of myself. I may not be the most religious person in the world, but I do consider myself a spiritual person, and I do believe that there is a creative force in the universe. Pretty well fits the definition of God, and I just cannot believe that a creative God would create all these billions and billions of galaxies containing billions and billions of suns, containing billions and billions of habitable planets spinning all around, just so we'd have something to look at in the night sky.
It doesn't make any sense. It
does. No, that's one of the most chauvinistic viewpoints I've ever heard.
Now, you and I were together at this past Contact in the Desert. You know about those mass sightings out there. You've heard me speak about it. Did you see anything that night on Saturday?
Yes and no. I saw lights moving in the sky, and some of them looked a little strange. But I have never been one. I'm like you, Jimmy. I try to stay objective, and I try to keep at least 1 foot on the ground.
Right.
And I'm not going to try to tell anybody that I saw UFOs or flying saucers or anything else. Okay. It's the same thing. I went to Oregon and went to the ranch up there and saw some odd things, but they were just lights moving around, and I'm not going to try to convince anybody of anything just based on some lights I've seen. I mean, I've been to Marfa, Texas, and seen the Marfa lights, and there's something very strange out there because you can see them at night. There they are. You go over there, and there's nothing there, and they're not real sure what all that is. But so there is some really odd stuff going on. But I'm not going to try to tell anybody that that's alien spaceships or non-humans or anything else because I can't tell you that. I don't know that.
Yeah, my sight. Well, I saw a few things that weekend out there. But that Saturday night, I saw 2 things, Jim, that I can't explain. I'm not saying it's us. I'm not saying it's them.
You go. It's just unexplained.
It was so fascinating to me in that my head started spinning, man. I mean, it was just like, now, okay, I can't. My brain is not computing this. I'm not figuring this out right now.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that's like one time I was in Montana, I believe it was, and I saw what I would have sworn was a shooting star, okay, or a meteor, except it stopped and then took off again. So now, wait a minute. Meteors don't stop.
Right. Well, the first thing out there at Contact, now check this out. I'd love to hear your opinion on this. I step up into the crowd right on the cliff, and I'm there for 10 seconds, literally, no joke, 10 seconds. And I take my head, it's dark, it's black, right? It's black. And that desert sky, it's beautiful. And I tilt my head back and I look straight up at 12 o'clock, right? Straight up into the sky. And I see what looks like a star, a planet, bright star, way up in the solar, up there. And it moves from left to right, and it moves about a foot and poof, disappears, right? And I was like, what was that, right? And so I grabbed night vision, and I'm tripping, and I look back with the night vision now, because this was with my plain eyes, and I look back in that same spot with the night vision, and where it disappeared on the right side, it goes from now right to left, same distance, about a foot, and disappears again. And it was like, oh, wait a minute, stars don't move. Right?
That's
Planets don't move. They don't disappear. And it did it to me twice in about 15 seconds. And I don't know what is going on. I can't explain that. I can't explain that away. And,
and I've seen similar things, and you can't explain it, and that's the whole thing. Now, the difference is you and I say we saw this weird thing, and we can't explain it. Now, others say, and I've been around some who go, hey, that was a UFO, and it just powered down.
Could be.
Well,
could be.
But I'm not going to say that because I don't know that.
I don't know either. I now what I find myself doing is I'll go out in my backyard or anytime I'm outside at night, and I look up hoping that I'm going to see something like that again, because this was almost like on demand. This was like it was.
Well, all right. Here's my question to you. Some years ago, when my kids were little, and I would think, what if they land and want me to go on board and say, hey, we'll take you on a trip through the universe, but you might not be able to come back to Earth. Would I go? And back then, I think, no, I think I'd hesitate. Because I got a family I got to take care of. But, hey, my kids are grown. They got kids of their own. Hey, I might just go.
So you're
What
asking...
about you? If they land out in your backyard and say, hey, come on, we may not be able to bring you back to Earth, but we'll show you the universe, would you go?
If I could take Rita with me, I would go.
Ah, there you go, yeah.
No,
always.
If I could take Rita with me, I would do it. I would do it. I wouldn't go it alone. I would.
There you go, Rita. There you go. It's out there for everybody to hear.
Now, so today, would you go? Would you do it?
Yeah, I think I would. What have I got to lose?
Yeah. I would want a couple of guarantees.
Especially if they'll hurry up and I could miss this upcoming election.
Yeah, I would want a couple of guarantees. I'd want In-N-Out burgers.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
I need some French fries, and I need guaranteed chocolate shakes. If that is on the menu, I am out of here. Well,
I want to get a chocolate shake on Zeta Reticuli.
Oh man, could you imagine that? A Zeta Reticuli chocolate shake.
Yeah.
Now, jumping back to the election,
oh my God.
Well, hold on. This is the conspiracy of it. When people started referring to a few months ago that the election wasn't going to happen. Something was this, and that. Obama's going to be in for another term. There's going to be a state of emergency. There's going to be this and that. I said, no way. No, it's all, it's just going to go on. And now I had read last week, and this is where the conspiracy part just spins out of control. Mm-hmm. Do you know what the plan is if Hillary had to drop out, right? Health issues, right? Let's say she had to drop out.
I'm assuming it would go to Biden or to Tim Kaine.
Check this out. And it's the same for the Republicans as it is the Democrats, right? The Rules Committee. You ready for this?
Okay.
If Trump had to drop out tomorrow, right?
Mm-hmm.
His taxes, international, his health, whatever it is, he drops out of the race. Hillary drops out of the race. The Democrats get together, they call a meeting, and they suggest somebody. And anybody at that meeting that is called can vote. You cannot vote unless you attend the meeting. And that's how they replace somebody that went through the primaries. And it's the same thing for the Republicans. It is such a simple process, Jim. Such a simple thing that can happen that the American public, through all the voting and the primaries and the election season, and what we decided on, allegedly, could actually be replaced by a private vote behind closed doors by a suggestion.
Boy, sounds like the American way to me.
Yeah, is that the conspiracy of all conspiracies? And it's a possibility.
Wait a minute. No, let me give you my conspiracy take on this whole thing, okay? I guess you saw where George Herbert Walker Bush says he would probably vote Democratic.
Yeah.
Because he'll vote for Hillary.
Right.
Okay, listen, folks, the New World Order is running scared, and they're out in the open. All you got to look, hey, Cheney and John McCain and all these neocons and the Bushes, and they're all for Hillary, okay, even though they're Republicans.
Right.
All right? Now, who were they? They were the ones that were behind 9/11. They're the ones that led us into all these wars. They're the ones that's been defrauding the banking system and causing the economic collapse all around the world. They are the Bilderbergers. They are the royalty of Europe. They are, and so all you have to do is look at the people who are these national security experts who came out and said, well, we could never vote for Donald Trump. Well, there you go. These are the New World Order people. These are the people trying to push us into Agenda 21, trying to let the United Nations run everything. Now they're out in the open, okay? Now, let me go to Donald Trump. I don't have a whole lot of good things to say about Donald Trump because I never thought much about him. I thought he was arrogant, and I thought he was, kind of self-serving, et cetera, et cetera. So, but I will say this. I don't think Donald Trump at heart is a liberal, and I don't think he's a conservative. I think he is an entrepreneurial pragmatist, okay? He does whatever it takes to get the job done, and he showed that throughout his whole professional career. And he's won some, he's lost some, but he's always willing to take a chance, and he's always been right out there, and he's made some pretty great successes by being pragmatic. And you know what, Jimmy? Maybe, just maybe, it's time that we have somebody who's pragmatic in the White House and not a politician or a politically correct advocate, you know?
And is it, well, see, this is the thing. My normal answer to that would be, is it worth taking the chance on, right? Is it worth...
Considering the alternative,
what's the alternative?
Definitely worth taking a chance.
Yeah, it's so trippy. You know, I normally I would go, man, is it worth taking the chance? But you've got to look at our choices here. It is a crazy situation.
I mean, I've been fighting this since 1964. You know, I wanted to vote for Barry Goldwater, but I was told, and there were ads on TV showing a mushroom cloud and a little girl, and I was told that if I voted for Barry Goldwater, there would be war in Southeast Asia and rioting in the streets of American cities. And you know what, Jimmy? They were right. Of course, it was Lyndon Johnson that was presiding over all of that, but I voted for Goldwater, and that's what happened, okay? Now, ever since then, I've had to vote for the lesser of two evils.
Yes.
And frankly, I'm tired of voting for the lesser of two evils because the lesser of two evils is still evil,
Now, it totally. And when we talk about the feds, and we talk about the cabal, and we talk about the New World Order, something that you write about a lot, and nobody knows it better than you. But if there's somebody that's connected to the very top who is probably shook hands with more Rothschilds than you and I can shake a stick at, it would be Donald Trump. So how can he separate?
That's true. That is very worrisome. But here's the thing: considering what he's done and how he operates. Well, let me put it this way: he's built he has built buildings in New York City, right? So damn well he's had to deal with the mob. Okay.
Right.
Yeah. You're not a contractor in New York and not have to deal with the mob. But that doesn't make you a mobster, does it?
I got to think about that one.
Well, you just have to deal with them,
Right.
It's like if you became the district attorney of Chicago, okay? You got to have to deal with the mob. Now, you can't just go after them all guns blazing. You're going to have to work deals, and you're going to have to work accommodations. I mean, I'm sorry, I'm just talking about the real world now.
Right. Well, speaking about the real world, okay, how come nobody has sat Donald down and asked him about the international business deals that he's got going on in India and Pakistan and Turkey and Japan and Korea and so forth around the world, and how he's going to separate the profiteering on those projects versus his decision making that he is going to do in the Oval Office, and that is his family going to profit off of him being in the Oval Office? And how do you separate the two?
That's the kind of questions that need to be asked. And I wish you were on the panel on Monday night when they have their big debate so you could ask him those questions. Unfortunately, we do not have a news media and an incisive news media in this country anymore. They're not going to ask him that. They're going to ask him about, why do you talk bad about Mexicans? Why do you do blah, blah, blah? All this nonsense, They're not asking them the hard questions. And they need to be answered. But again, all I can say is that he's a question mark and Hillary is not.
Man, I don't know. Do you feel good? What's your gut? What is your gut over our next 4 years? One of the two is going to get into the White House. That you can take to the bank. So
that's true. That's true. And I'll tell you what, at this point, and I'm deluding myself because there's sure a lot of welfare checks out there. But right now, I think unless something really happens, and it could any day, any minute, unless something really happens to upset the apple cart, I really believe that the great mass of people who you usually don't hear from. We always hear that from the squeaky wheels, but I think the greased wheels, the people who are earning a living, trying to earn a living, trying to live their life, I think they're going to turn out for Donald Trump. And unless they can keep it very, very close where they can skew the results with their damnable computer voting machines, I think Trump might actually get it. And if he did, I don't think the heaven's going to fall, okay? Number one, it's not like we're voting for Hitler, They voted for Hitler to be the chancellor, and he immediately declared himself the Führer, the leader, and he took over and he ran everything.
Right.
Donald Trump's not going to do. He can't do that. He's got to answer to the Supreme Court. He's got to answer to Congress. He's got to answer to the legislative divisions and the House and to the Senate and to the Joint Chiefs of Staff and to the CIA. I mean, we have such a burgeoning bureaucratic government in the federal government that I guarantee you, no matter what he wants to do, he's not going to be able to do everything that everybody would want him to do or that he might even want to do. But I'll tell you what really might change is that he doesn't seem to be afraid to use the bully pulpit, okay? Unlike Obama, who spent all his time playing golf, and Hillary, who spent all her time, loading up the Clinton Foundation and making profitable deals with every other little two-bit tin horn dictator all around the world, he might actually get on TV and say, okay, folks, we need to do this, we need to do that. And what I'm reminded of is in early 1961, in the spring of 61, when Kennedy had just taken office, and there were the steel workers were threatening a strike because they wanted better working conditions and they wanted more money, and the steel manufacturers were going, well, no, we can't do that. It would cause steel prices to go up, and we can't do that. So Kennedy had a big meeting with them, and he got the steel workers to agree not to strike, and the steel manufacturers agreed not to raise their prices. But they did anyway, okay? Mm-hmm. And Kennedy, who had no executive or legislative authority over the steel, nevertheless went on national television. I still remember this. And he said, this is not right. And he explained what happened. And he said he had ordered the federal government to suspend all the contracts with the 4 major steel manufacturers who had raised their prices and to go to the other lesser-known manufacturers and do business with them. And the steel manufacturers caved in, and they dropped their price increase and went back the way it was. Now, that's the way the president can go and appeal to the people. But you have to tell the truth. You have to tell the people the truth. You have to tell people what's going on. And from what I can see, I think that's what we could expect from Donald Trump.
Well, the only political comment that I will make directly, because I enjoy talking about the conspiracy of politics. That's where my head is at. But the one thing that I think rings true, and I think we'll find that out if he gets elected, is this. No matter when you start off in politics, you start off with the right idea. You want to change the world. You want to go in at the community level, get elected to the city or town that you're in, and go in and start changing things. But eventually, power corrupts. The lobbyists take control. You find out that you're not the boss and that there's somebody else above you that's always pulling the strings. And the next thing you know, you're one of them. Now,
exactly.
And if you're suggesting that he has the willpower to fight all of that, I don't think that's possible with anybody.
That's what I'm saying. And there's just too many factors. He's not going to run roughshod, but he could be believe it or not, a stabilizing influence for thinking people who go, well, heaven hadn't fallen, and we're not running everybody out of the country, so maybe everything will be okay,
Yeah, well, Brexit didn't end the world, right? And it was supposed to. And this is the thing. Hillary knows that when she goes into the Oval Office, if she's elected, she went through this for 8 years. She's been in politics for a long time. She knows that when she goes in and sits down, the phone's going to ring, and her boss is going to be on the other end of the line, and it's going to tell her what it is. Donald doesn't know this yet. He thinks he does.
Well, that's it.
He's going to go in. He's going to sit down. That phone's going to ring. And he's going to walk in there smiling, and he's going to walk out of there frowning, just like every single president that has ever walked into the White House has done. You see it every single inauguration day.
And then they take them in the little room and they show them the Zapruder film or something similar, and they go, "Now, any questions?"
Now, and before I let you go, and thank you again, Jim. All the conversations with you are always great. I have to ask you. Let's depart with this. The big D word, disclosure. What do you think is going on? Are we? Is it already here and it's here by another name, or do you think that there is something on the horizon?
I think there's something on the horizon. There's going to be more instance and more openness, and but I really think that it's just going to happen, But I do think that it's not so much up to us. There are some who still put a lot of faith and confidence if they can just get to the right congressional committee, and get a fair airing. We'd all know what's going on. I don't think that's going to happen. All right, but what's going to happen is there's just going to be more and more stuff happening until even the dullest says, "Wait a minute, there's something's going on here." And if you'll think about it, Jimmy, all they got to do is just wait until one of these ships appear over a major city and hangs there just long enough for all the news crews to get out there, and the game's up.
Well, I often wondered that if somebody was like that, standing next to me out at Contact in the Desert, and would have seen what I had seen, how would it be handled after that? And not only a politician, Jim, but how about some doofus like Wolf Blitzer, right?
He'd go back and tell his bosses, "Man, guess what I see?" And I'm going to put that on the air tonight. And they go, "No, you're not."
Yeah, I just that's my point. I just don't see. No matter how convincing it is, no matter what, the spin machine would go into action. And
Peter Jennings, remember Peter Jennings?
Yes.
And one of the last things he did before totally leaving the air was host a hour-long documentary on UFOs.
I remember.
And everybody had such high hopes. And yet, at the first, it went like the usual UFO documentary goes, which is the first 15, 20 minutes, it's like, ooh, strange things are happening. Oh, man, look at this. Oh, wow, look at these pictures. Look at this thing moving in the sky. And then all of a sudden, in the next 20 minutes, you're getting highly paid scientists and people with lots of alphabets after their name going, well, we don't really know about this. This could be that. Could be swamp gas. Could be piezotic energy from the earth. Could, all kinds of explanations. And then finally towards the end, it's going, well, I guess there's really nothing here to see, folks, And yet, at the very end of that thing that Peter Jennings did, his last comment was, he said, this is the most intriguing story I've ever covered. And I think that was his roundabout way of trying to tell us that there's something going on. He couldn't quite get it said plainly out there in the control media, but he tried to tell us in his final comment.
Was that thing called, was it Seeing is Believing, or was it UFO Live? Yeah. I can't remember.
What was that?
I'll look it up during the break. But I remember the high hopes that I had after that too as well. Well, and all of the Larry King stuff too as well. Larry definitely tried to drive it home, but that's as far as we got with it. And then we have you, Jim. Let's not forget.
Hey, I'm still here, I think. I hope.
Hey, Jim, thank you for everything. And really quick, next book, what's coming out next?
Well, it's a little premature. It will be out at the end of next spring.
At the end of next spring. Okay, well, that's just a couple of months away. We can deal with that.
Yeah.
What's it about?
Yeah.
Can you tell us what it's about?
Well, okay, right now my working title is, and I say it's a working title because who knows, is Shadow of the Illuminati.
Oh, well played. All right, and when am I going to see you next in person? What's on the horizon?
Hey, you're going to be at Contact in the Desert?
You know I am. So that's my next event too as well. Well, we have UFO Con.
They're in contact with me and they've asked me back, and I think probably I'm going to, health bidding and the creek don't rise. I probably will try to be there.
Okay. Well, we'll see you at Contact in the Desert, and of course, you'll be back on Fade to Black here in a month and a half, 2 months anyway. So we'll see you before then. But until then, have a great Halloween and a great holiday season coming up. Thank you so much, Jim.
You too, Jimmy. Take care. And remember, there's more of us than there are of them, and we're getting wiser every day.
Because of you. Thank you so much, Jim. Be safe out there. Bye-bye. Jim Mars, everybody. That was a conversation. That was a conversation. Blew right through the commercial break. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, Somebody just posted, Peter Jennings, UFO, seeing is believing. See, I still have a brain. I don't have to look it up during the break. I'll be right back. This is Fade to Black.
Here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-618-WAVE, 888-618-WAVE, or visit mydryhome.com, mydryhome.com.
Ride the wave, Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
What's up, Fadernauts? Studio Dome loves Fade to Black and the F2B audience so much that they have put together the ultimate stereo Bluetooth system. They've done it just for you. Man, check this out. The Studio Dome SBB2 stereo system is here. It's featuring 2 Studio Boombox 2 SBB2 wireless Bluetooth speakers, packed in its own custom hardshell case. This Studio Dome system features the very latest in stereo Bluetooth technology. The 2 full-range boomboxes are in true wireless stereo. You've got to hear this. It's amazing. It's just $129, and use the promo code JCRTWS, and you'll also get free shipping. It's simple. Just go to JimmyChurchRadio.com, click on the Studio Dome banner. Go Beckley Tepe.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back to Fade to Black. Thank you, Jim Mars. Wow. I could talk to him forever, but you got to understand, man. It's midnight there in Texas, in Tejas, you know. And there you go. Thank you so much, Jim. You are the very best. Now, I am not ignoring what is going on here. Everybody is writing to me right now. The emails have been coming in about the state of emergency in Charlotte. If you're in Charlotte right now, in the area right there, give the show a call. I would like to know what's going on firsthand out there, 323-825-5045, and let us know, okay? State of emergency. Governor sends in the National Guard amid the protest. Looks like somebody was shot. Again, I haven't read any of this, but and I'm not going to turn on the TVs here to check this stuff out. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to pollute my brain. And there you go. But if you're out there in Charlotte, give me a call, 323-825-5045. State of emergency in Charlotte. Okay. All right. Now, a couple of things that I had addressed at the beginning of the show that I want to get back to is this finger pointing and conflicting stories about what went on out in Aleppo. And I find this very interesting because somebody knows the truth and neither is telling the truth. But the Russian Defense Ministry today says that a U.S. coalition drone was in the vicinity of the convoy that was attacked outside of Aleppo. And according to the Russian military, the unmanned aircraft was a Predator. Now, and I'm quoting directly here, on the evening of September 19th in that specific region, a drone belonging to the International Condition, which had taken off from the air base in Turkey, was flying at a height of 3,600 meters, traveling at around 200 kilometers per hour. And the object was in the area around the town of al-Kubra, where the convoy was a few minutes before it caught fire, and it left after about 30 minutes. Moscow says it has now provided all the data it possesses regarding the attack on the convoy, and they are backing off. They are saying that everything that we know is out there. I find it all very, very interesting and compelling how we have all of the eyes in the sky out there. We have all of the aircraft that is flying around, and no visuals, no film, no witnesses. Nobody's come forward. No cell phone cameras. Nothing at all. Because there's something else amiss here. There's something going on. I just don't know what it is, and I don't know what the agenda is. Okay. All right, the other big news that is going on, we're kind of used to this kind of stuff being hyped up in advance, but NASA will host a teleconference at 2 p.m. this coming Monday, September 26th, to present new findings from images captured by the agency's Hubble Space Telescope of Jupiter's moon, Europa. Astronomers will present results from a unique Europa observing campaign that resulted in, and I'm quoting here, surprising evidence of activity that may be related to the presence of a subsurface ocean. Now, we've always known that was there. Arthur C. Clarke wrote about this in 2001. But participants in the teleconference will be Paul Hertz, the director of astrophysics at NASA, William Sparks, the Space Telescope Science Institute, Brittany Schmidt from the Georgia Institute of Technology in Atlanta, and Jennifer Weissman, senior Hubble project scientist. Now, what is it that they are, to say surprising evidence, and I'm quoting here from the press release, and the words like activity, very, very strange verbiage here. Now, are they going to come forward and actually mention that they found life on Europa? I keep going back to Arthur C. Clarke because this is something that he wrote about, and he was surprisingly accurate in his science fiction writing. All of that is well documented. But could there be something going on Europa? Do you remember at the end of 2010? I hate quoting Hollywood, but it's Arthur C. Clarke. You remember the quote at the end of 2010? I think it is, "The universe is yours. Leave Europa alone. It's ours." Right? You remember that? Why the focus on Europa right now and what is going to be presented at this teleconference? I don't know. There you go. It's 2 p.m. this Monday, Eastern Daylight Time. So 11 a.m. out here on the West Coast. Now, something else. Nothing but big breaking news right now. President Obama signed a presidential memorandum today establishing that climate change impacts must be factored into the development of all national security related doctrine, policies, and plans. Now, this is something that you can't make up. The move signals Obama's determination to exercise his executive authority during his final months in office to elevate the issue of climate in federal decision-making, even though it remains unclear whether his successor is going to embrace this approach. But under the directive, 20 federal agencies and offices that work on climate science, intelligence, and national security must, and I'm quoting here, collaborate to ensure the best information on climate impacts is available to strengthen our national security. Now, does this even make any sense here? Now, it goes on to say that it should all continue through the new Federal Climate and National Security Working Group. That group must release a climate change and national security action plan in the next 90 days. All of the relevant agencies must then identify steps to implement it. Now, what does this mean? Does this have to do with, well, first off, what about weather control? What about these HARP programs that do indeed exist? Is that part of it? What the language here is suggesting that climate change above countries can affect the way that we go in and look at our national security, such as, and I'm going to give you an example. What if there is, let's pick a country like North Korea. North Korea suddenly has floods, right? You heard about Kim Jong-un asking for international relief last week, that they've had these insane rains and the flooding that's going on there. So do you take advantage of a country that is going through drought? Do we starve them out? Do we make that part of our national security interest? Is that crazy verbiage? A country that was just hit by a hurricane, do we use that for our own interest and strength and bargaining power? Do we look to the future with climate change on different continents and countries that would then change our strategic plans and the way that we look at those countries, friendly or unfriendly? Very interesting verbiage. And they must come up with a plan within the next 90 days. Very interesting. And for him to do this right before he leaves office is even more telling. Very interesting. Things are afoot, my friends. I don't know what to make of it. I really don't. I'm just relaying the White House press release on this presidential memorandum, combining climate change with national security issues. Very interesting. Now, feel-good story of the day. I've got a couple of them. A woman has survived for more than 38 hours in the sea after falling overboard last week on a Royal Caribbean cruise ship. The 32-year-old woman, her name is Wang Si, she's from Shanghai, was on a trip from Japan to China with her parents when she accidentally fell overboard last Wednesday, September 14th. More than 100 volunteers searched the ship, didn't find her, and her parents were told that if she had fallen overboard, it was unlikely that she would survive. Then, last Friday morning, her father received a phone call saying his daughter had been spotted and found and picked up by a fisherman floating alive in the coastal waters near Zhoushan. You have to see the... Oh, who just posted this? Thank you. Mark Tarana just posted this. I'm going to retweet. That is her right there. That's her. That's her getting taken off of the ship where she was rescued by the Coast Guard from the fishing vessel. And there she is. She looks pretty good, actually. Man. It's the craziest story. 38 hours treading water. Very cool. All right. Archaeologists in Denmark recently, all of this is over on our Facebook page, and you have to see this picture too as well. Archaeologists in Denmark recently discovered a rare Bronze Age pot with what appears to be a layer of 3,000-year-old burnt cheese crusted on the bottom of it, possibly the result of an ancient cooking accident. Again, I'm not making this up. Thank you. Mark, you are on top of it. That gets a retweet right there. You can look at the pot. There it is. Pretty good size, too, as well. There it is. Archaeologists noticed that the pot, which was excavated in central Jutland, appeared to have a layer of white-yellow residue coating its bottom. So they sent it to the Danish National Museum for analysis, and researchers there ruled out meat and they ruled out plant matter as possible sources of the residue, concluding that it was a foamy, vitrified material that looked a lot like cow fat. While researchers still aren't completely sure what the substance is, they think it is likely the result of cheese making gone awry. There it is. Crazy picture, too, as well. How cool is that? Now, okay. Dangerous levels of chromium-6 are contaminating tap water consumed by hundreds of millions of Americans, according to a national report that was released yesterday. Now, chromium-6 is the carcinogenic chemical that was featured in the movie Aaron Brockovich. The U.S. Environmental Protection Agency has never set a specific limit for chromium-6 in drinking water. Levels of chromium-6 at or above 0.03 parts per billion in 75% of the samples tested by local water utilities on behalf of the EPA between 2013 and 2015. 7 million Americans receive tap water with levels of chromium-6 that are higher than the legal limit established by California at 10 parts per billion, which is the only state in the United States to enforce a maximum containment level. Now, I'm telling you right now, the number is 250 million Americans are drinking chromium-6 right now in their tap water. And that's insane. Nike, I'm going to try to get this in. Oh, thank you, Mark, for posting that. There you go. That's going to get a retweet. You guys are the best. I love Twitter. Turkish authorities have... Oh, no, hold on. What am I doing here? Nike has announced that its self-lacing shoes, their trainers, will now officially go on sale November 28th. There they are. There's the picture. They are called the Nike HyperAdapt 1.0. There it is. If you look at it, go over to Twitter right now. Go to our feed, hashtag F2B. You can check it out. There it is, the self-lacing shoe. Inspired by the shoes worn by the Back to the Future protagonist, Marty McFly. Will be available at select Nike outlets in the United States just in time for Christmas and guaranteed to empty your bank account. I'm going to leave you with this. Let me get this in here before I get out of here. Turkish authorities have dismissed nearly 28,000 teachers and suspended almost 9,500 others over the alleged links to terrorism. And this has happened now, and this is continuing the security crackdown following that coup that was back in July. Turkey has sacked or suspended some 100,000 civil servants, including judges, prosecutors, police officers, and teachers, since that group of rogue soldiers tried to topple the government. At least 40,000 people have been detained for suspected links to U.S.-based cleric Fethullah Gulen, who lives right here in the United States. Well, that's it. This is Fade to Black. Thank you, Jim Mars. Great conversation. Always the best. Tomorrow night, right here, John Rappaport and his No More Fake Newsroom. Fader night, open lines all night long, right here tomorrow night. Fade to Black's executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hilton J. Paul, Mark D. Kovar, LJ3, Renee, Mark Dunbar, Jonas, Dennis. Thank you, Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitola, Mark D. Kovar, Fady by Dale, Webmaster Drew the Geek, Music Doug Aldrich, Intro Spaceboy, SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network. Syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast is owned and copyrighted 2016 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Until tomorrow night, everybody be safe. Go Beckley Teppy.